And welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 123. It's been a week since we were on last, and now we're on again. God, where to even start? Uh, Maybe we'll start with the Facebook bashing. so,
All right, get your hammers.
get your hammers out.
Facebook sucks so much.
Yeah, so I was digging on some articles, and apparently, Facebook and the associated company Instagram that they had bought in 2014, um, they are now implementing a meme AI bot, which determines whether your meme is appropriate to put on Facebook or not, using a program that they had created called Rosetta. Um, you can throw off the meme bot by using backwards text, special characters, anything you can do to manipulate the character set. It'll throw it off for now. I mean, they'll probably refine this bot a little better, but slowly and more and more, I'm hoping people are realizing that Facebook is not the place to be. Neither is Instagram. Um,
Boo.
well,
Clean up, junkies.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
we've dealt with such, censorship in the past, but now it's like the memes, or now they're determining which memes are appropriate or not, and isn't this like something that like Ted Cruz asked like he asked uh, Zuckerberg, whether they were a biased company, and now it seems like if you make fun of anybody now, you can't put it up there. Just the only thing you can put up on Facebook is like fucking cat pictures and shit.
Approved speech
Approved speech. There you go.
from the Ministry of Truth.
Well, I mean, content creators are going on. I follow a guy, who I've told several times, you should move off the Facebook platform, and that was like his main income source. And Facebook, he has like 1 million followers, and he says that normally his videos that he makes, because he's a content creator, he says that normally he's getting like 500,000 views. But now he's only getting, in the last couple of weeks, since they changed their algorithm again, he's only getting 50,000 views, and he obviously can't support himself with the low amount of viewership. But I mean, people need to rethink, even creating, rethink social media. I know what's his guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, or whatever the fuck his name is. You know who I'm talking about? The entrepreneur, the social media entrepreneur.
Uh, that kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah. He was saying that Apple, or no, he was saying that Facebook, when all this shit was going down with Facebook, that Facebook is the place to be, and I'm like, no, it's not. Content
No way.
creators that make a living off of ad revenue and clicks and online stores. Facebook is not a place to be if you're gonna have your online social media. If your source of income is revolving around having it set up around Facebook.
Yeah, just build your own web page. Hire somebody. Jeez.
Well, now that you know what you know, that might have been. I can see where people thought that. When it all first started. I mean, it all sounded good, but when you look at it now, I mean, it's a failed model, not just for their own model, but for anybody that joins. I mean, like you say, if you're trying to build a business, forget it, because they'll just take you down. Sooner or later, you're going to say something wrong.
Yeah, and people, but there's another issue that's been going on for a long time, is the without any warning, Facebook, if you have a business page or a page profile, they'll delete your stuff saying that you violated their terms of service when you've already invested money in sponsored ads and promoted posts. So basically, they're just stealing your money when they do that kind of shit, because they don't give you your money back.
Even after they ban you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's true hijacking.
Yeah, people are
It-
like much too dependent on sites like that. Like you have to realize you're dealing with like a competitor, because like Facebook and its advertisers and its partners are like active in so many different parts of the marketplace, and there's almost no way you're not competing with them, and you're being like dependent on your competitor to survive. It's like yeah.
Well, even their
very risky.
even their algorithms, if their algorithms are constantly changing, and you need so many views to generate so much amount of revenue, then that's not a stable model. You know, if people like seeing your shit, they should be able to see your shit. You know.
Yeah, of course.
I'd be curious.
makes-
I'd be very curious on on seeing what's trending. If I did a Facebook search, if they turned off all of the sorting algorithms, I'd be very curious.
Well, you can search Facebook from the outside without logging in, right?
To a degree.
Or
To a degree.
Yeah.
You can look at stuff, but you can't interact with anything.
That's true. Yeah, well, they want to sanitize it to the point of TV, not even cable, a cable system. They want to sanitize it to the point of like when you had like 4 or 5 channels way back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. That's the kind of news, that's the kind of internet that they want you to have. It'll be their big combines telling you what the truth is, and that's the way it is, and all that bullshit.
Well, yeah,
Go back to Apple II.
all social media sites are becoming like that, and it's not also on what you post. It's on your social media sites are banning you on what you're doing. Like, let's say you get in some legal trouble and you do something that they don't approve of, or if you did something that's really bad, you lose your social media. They ban you on your social, like it's some sort of like social justice. Like, oh, we banned you because of your behavior offline, which really I don't understand, which really violates the terms of service and what you did online.
Yeah, here's the problem. Why are they not held? If you tried to do this to the phone system and what people were saying over the phone all these years, they would have laughed at you. It's like, nobody's going to use it where I got to watch what I'm saying on the telephone, right? Now it's the internet. But now all of a sudden these people can somehow limit your speech and censor, and it's like no big deal. You could not apply what goes onto the internet and sites and all that business to what has happened in the phone system, because nobody would have put up with it. So what's the difference? It's a communication service. It's your communications. Why now is it okay for? See, AT&T couldn't have limited you in what you were saying over the phone, and then bleep out what they didn't like. So you couldn't get away with that.
Well, soon, it might get to that. Like.
Well, yeah,
Cellular
now that you
carriers,
can do this,
cellular
yeah, sure.
carriers or operating systems will be like, no, you cannot message "fuck you" and your whatever,
Yeah, the message was intercepted because it's inappropriate. Even in the cyber world, it's inappropriate electrons moving back and forth. We're not going to have that.
That's
It's wasted electrons.
That's when you just use special characters and special ASCII, or backwards writing.
It's just the standard has changed. I'm telling you, man. It's just like I'm amazed what people put up with or what they can get away. Congress. See, this is the thing. Your government is supposed to be protecting your rights, and all they're doing is sitting around and talking, doing nothing. It's amazing.
No, they're trying to figure out how to give you what you want, but with a catch, like Corrupt Wish. Say you want ice cream, but every time you have a bowl, you lose a toe. You see where I'm going with that?
Well, not exactly. I mean, I mean, the overall trend, they're trying to push you into something, but it's not freedom. See, you had that when the internet was free and open, when it first started. That was free and open. Now you're seeing what happens when the government and all these other politicians and political people and all that get involved in your business. This is what happens. It turns to a bunch of shit. And you're listening to some asshole who doesn't know anything other than how to shut you down because they're concerned, right? Oh, you're concerned, so your concerns trump my rights. That's insanity, man. That doesn't even sound right.
And then they'll use that, it's for your safety, it's for your kids' safety, and it's for your family's safety.
Yeah, it's all the code words. Well, that was wasn't that the French Revolution? It was the Office of Public Safety that got away with all this stuff. It was all for your safety. See,
Yeah.
we have to chop off heads and do all this bad shit to you because it's for your own good. I mean,
I think
You
that
can
was,
climb this 2-foot ladder, but you have to tie off.
I think that was one of the topics that I have. There's a bill coming up that's for your safety in America.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, another one.
sure.
Patriot Act?
No.
Was it Freedom Act?
No, this is the drone act. So the
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, they're
I
gonna
think
Drone
most
unit.
of these, politicians know absolutely nothing about the internet and about all these things. I think there's like lobbyists informing them, and they just take it all. They just do it all.
That's what I think. That's what I think. What happens is that politicians, the lobbyists. Not only when they hand them money, they'll just hand them like they'll there's like fucking like thousands of pages like within a bill, and they'll just dumb it down and say here's basically what it is. Just vote yes. Here's fucking like here's $250,000.
Yeah, just like a tiny PowerPoint presentation of, and exactly. They're just getting money to do it, and they'll just do it. They don't even read into it. They just watch the PowerPoint presentation that says absolutely nothing about negative effects or about like restricting freedoms and stuff.
How many times have we caught Congress, politicians not actually reading the bills before they vote for them? Quite a few.
Every time.
Yeah.
Well, it's all pre-done. We know their committees, and I mean they've been talking behind the scenes. Of course, I mean they know what's going on. They're just acting stupid. What it does for them is shorten the period that you get to talk about because it's already a done deal. So you got about 2 days. It's like, oh, everybody's outraged because you did this, but what are you going to do about it? You got 2 days, and then they're on to the next thing. They've already shim-shammed you.
I'm
There's
not sure
everything now.
if we can actually expect them to read everything, but like,
But that's what they're paid to do, though.
That's exactly that's
That's
right.
what that's
their job.
it's the paid position. These guys make like 6-7 figures a year, which astounds me. Sitting on their asses and basically doing nothing and not reading shit and just taking bribes and voting whoever will pay the most.
Yeah, but who's going to sit around for 3 days and read a 150-page rule, law, amendment?
Well,
Twice.
hey, somebody did because they typed it all out.
Yeah.
Somebody already has done all that. They're the ones that already came up with.
Yeah, but
with
somebody
that
else is falling asleep reading it. I'll be honest with you. I've read a lot of these PDF files where they said, what was it, the Affordable Health Care Act. Get all the way to the end of it. You get fined so many times. They come to your home. They try to take your home. They can seize your kids. They can seize your assets for you not having that insurance. And nobody's seeing that because it's somewhere in there where you got bored of reading. And
buried in the documents. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the law is like those terms of service you never read, right? The contract's gotten so long, you just hit fuck it. I agree, right? Well, you should have read the fine print because ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? You should have read the motherfucker, So now you're running around thinking you're, free in America, and all of a sudden it's like, woo, here comes the discotheque. You're like, hey, what did I do? It's like, well, about 2 or 3 things, like, here you go. It's nobody. It's just a big joke, man.
And you didn't realize everybody on Facebook knew what kind of porn you were watching.
What?
Yes, like Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Alex, I did want to come back to that. So, I'm not a righty. I'm not a lefty. But I did catch the Right Wing News did an article, did a video interview with Alex Jones today, and I hate to say this, like it's looking like Alex is literally starting to, um, it's starting to sound more like a mental illness, like when he's speaking, and the interviewer just kind of got fed up and was just like looking at his papers because he wanted Alex to get back onto social media, but he couldn't answer the question in a correct way. And basically, Alex was saying that I'm ready to die, and I've already won, and I don't care about getting back onto social media, and this is the plan since Trump was. I was just like man, just like, do you
It's
know?
delusional.
Do you know how gone you sound? Like you know what I mean? Like
Well, where does look? He's like he thinks he was the first domino that fell. I mean, how many people do you know going back 10 years or more that have been banned from certain countries from speaking? I mean, this has been going on a while. It's ramped up, that's for sure. But you're not the first guy that it's happened to. He thinks he's some martyr, and it's the first guy that it's happened to. That's the problem.
but he was talking about drinking poison slowly, and it was like, I was just like, man, like
Oh,
we got
okay.
we got some
Well,
sort we got some sort of psychosis, like there was some sort of psychosis going
yeah.
on, like
So now, where was this interview? Is this new? I didn't see this.
right wing news,
Oh, that's the actual name. Okay.
yeah, something like
I
that,
was going to
yeah.
ask you who's the right wing news outlet. I mean, there
Yeah,
aren't
they
many,
were
but yeah,
they were just
there's-
interviewing him, and everybody's saying that he's done, and I don't particularly agree with half the shit he says, but like banning him, censoring him on every social media site because of what he's saying is you shouldn't nobody should be banned on nobody should be banned on any social media site based on their views or what they are saying. Like whether it's good, bad. Like I hate to say it, but free speech is free speech. If you don't fucking like it, that's part of free speech. Somebody's gonna
Except
say
for
somebody's
pedos.
gonna say something or have views that are completely different than yours. That's a part of
Yeah,
free
I mean-
speech.
Except for
Well-
the pedos, we can push them off a cliff anytime now.
Well, there are laws, but yeah,
well,
say
but,
that.
that's an actual crime. though.
but that's an actual crime.
assault.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
come on,
crimes.
that-
Yeah.
That's a
It
physical
did help.
crime.
It did help his website actually, like him getting banned, but his reach is still a lot lower than he had. But yeah, his website visitors did increase about like 50%. Like it went from like 800,000 page views to 1.2 million in the stats. I'm looking at the stats here, and these are not stats given by him, by the way, because I wouldn't trust those. But
You mean he would hyperbole it?
yeah, there's like a really huge increase for sure in visitors, but it's still a lot lower than he would have with all the social media combined. Like most people watch like videos directly on YouTube, right, or they're directly on like Facebook. So yeah,
Yeah, I actually
Well-
visited his site, today, and they had redone everything. There's no every now it says banned videos, so every one of his videos is posted as a banned video.
Yeah, he's trying to turn it into a slogan. Well, what is costing him is all that free bandwidth that he was getting through, more or less, through Google and all the platforms. Now he has to pay for that. It's coming off his site.
oh yeah, the bandwidth and stuff. Yeah, it
Doesn't he
costs
still
a
have that
lot.
contract with Prison Planet?
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's got
Oh.
all the radio stations. I mean, there's other things going on.
Well, he's got like
Yeah.
hundreds of local radio stations for sure, maybe thousands even.
And
Yeah, you
the media loves drama, so it's drama.
Yeah. and
Well,
he's- he's
because
good
like
for
that was a turning thing. Like Apple CEO, like just outright banned him because they said hate speech. Then Mark Zuckerberg banned him because of what Apple had said, without really not knowing a hell of a lot about Alex Jones, or not even well. And then everybody else started doing it. And then Jack Dorsey, after he interviewed, Jack Dorsey banned him on Twitter after his shock jock interview with the congressman about social media censorship, which he had a valid point. I mean, you can obviously tell Alex was pissing off the fucking congressman, but he did have a point, to what he
Well,
was
that's
saying.
okay because Rubio is a schmuck. I mean,
Yeah.
if he goes after Rubio, even though he's a Republican, I don't care. He should be long gone already. Well, that's the problem. These government. This is the type of government you're getting, and this is the kind of reaction you get. See, here's the biggest problem. Republican leadership and Republican politicians don't give a shit about their base. They are letting their base get trashed on media, and they're not doing anything about it. Well, how the hell? I mean, they can't think ahead. Well, how the hell are you guys going to get elected when the voice is getting squelched? How's that going to work?
I think that's the point.
They won't stand up for you. Not that this government stands up for your rights right now anyway. They don't. That's the problem. It's just everywhere, man. Local, county, federal. It's just all a bunch of crap.
You know what also
collecting their
weirded,
check.
You know what also weirded me out? Is that the FCC broadcast and radio laws, and it actually pertains to speech, which violates the First Amendment. How you cannot say cuss words over a publicly broadcasted TV or radio signal, which kind of baffles me.
Oh yeah, they get you used to that. That's how it starts.
That's an old law.
been-
That's been going on since the
That's
50s.
right.
Yeah, there are two theories you can unleash on Alex Jones. Do you believe he's like a legit right wing nutcase, and these social media are all left wingers and they want to get him banned, or do you believe he's like a controlled opposition agent and it's all part of a big game, right? Maybe he wants to be banned right now because he needs credibility with grassroots movements. And yeah, there is that thing, a research they did about Trump's Twitter account, for example. And Trump is always getting blamed for these tweets, but there's actually a team tweeting for him. He's not tweeting himself.
Yeah, when he takes a picture of the Oval Office with himself, he's obviously not doing that tweet.
No. And the teams doing this, they said on purpose they put in grammar mistakes because he comes on he has the reputation of being like a super rich elitist billionaire, and they want to make him look more like a normal a dumb citizen.
Like all caps when you.
Yeah, so they put him they make him put grammar mistakes on it, so he looks more like ordinary. So the intellectuals automatically think less of him, and there's all a media psychological strategy behind it. So you could reason that maybe this is also part of a strategy that Alex Jones is just asked to be temporarily banned, but isn't really conspiracy-minded.
No, the strategy is to appeal to lower IQ people because there's far more lower IQ people than there are higher IQ people.
Now, you can remember the Bernie Sanders thing, right? Bernie Sanders was also getting banned on all these places, and he was getting a huge grassroots support. And they could be aiming for grassroots support behind Alex Jones. But I'm not sure about that. But
I don't know, but he was when they started talking about how this has hit him financially, you almost saw him tearing up a little bit because honestly that might be they might be hitting him in the pocket pretty bad. You know what I mean?
It has to be, yeah. I mean,
it's true, but he never has to work again in his life if he doesn't want to. So he can just walk away and he never has to work again. I mean, he already made as much money to be rich forever. He can
he's Alex Jones. He's not. He's not going to stop doing what he's doing.
Because he's a media narcissist. They always have to be in front of the camera, running their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with his show. It's become. He used to get on a lot of good guests, and it wasn't so much about him. I mean, it was always there, but not like now. And you had good guests come on, you were getting information. Now it's so much bullshit, and it's the Trump wars instead of info wars. It's just who wants to listen to that? It's like the rest of it. Who wants to listen to?
It's when I turn on CNN, all I hear about is Trump this, Trump that, Trump this. Fucking put on some fucking news.
And then they faking hurricanes and all the rest of it. So why even listen to them? It's like, if you can't even just tell me the weather,
Oh yeah, when they had
something's wrong with you.
When they had the Weather Channel guy where he was pretending like he was getting knocked around while two guys were walking in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the channel backs him up. It's like you catch them lying, and then, like true liars that they are, they just keep lying. It's just like, oh no, that's not what was going on. Oh really? I didn't see that. It's on the video. Gee, that's not what we're looking at here. Come on, man. You people you're so bad at what you're doing. You get caught, number one, and then you keep lying and get caught at that. You're not competent at all. As propagandists, if that's what you're trying to be, you're not doing a good job.
I don't think responsible journalism has been, in effect in a long time. I think everybody's doing it for the money, and you know what I mean. Whatever sells.
No, there is an official agenda going on because they're losing subscribers and market share. It's a failed model, and yet because we can just pass it along to all these richies behind the scenes, you're always going to have to look at CNN as if it's it's like some official agenda news source, that you need to be fed. No, if anybody's listening to it or not, that's still going to be on the airwaves, dude. I'm telling you.
What I don't understand is how come they have 4 or 6 or 7 hours of the day dedicated to what's going on in the White House. Like, this has been going on for like a year.
Well, they're obsessed. They have Trump derangement syndrome. That's what it is, and they're obsessed with the fact that he got elected, and they can't handle it. You look at some of these newscasters when they talk about it. It's just they get all whiny like they're a little kid or something. It's like, like, isn't there something we can do about this? It's like, well, I thought you were just a journalist, news reporter. What the fuck? You're all wound up in all this politics. What the hell's that all about?
Talk show.
You can't just be a journalist anymore. You have to be an agent for the party. Your oath to the party supersedes any oath to the country or pledge or anything to the country. Fuck the country. It's all about the party. That's about what I see going on here. Because they don't care about you and your rights. That's just slipping through the cracks big time right in front of your face.
It's pretty retarded because there's.
That was like when I saw the live reports, the live streams from the Vegas shooting. And I definitely heard a second gunman, yet the media says there is no second gun.
They don't even want to talk about that. They've swept that under the rug. I mean,
definitely heard a second gun.
How the hell do you kill 60 people and wound 600, and then it's like not even in the news? I'm telling you, this is Babylon AD, man. That's where you're at. You're not in America anymore. It's not the land of the free, home of the brave. You're in New Babylon, man. That's why you see this shit going on like you do.
Wasn't there a report that his wife, that Stephen Paddock's wife, was already in contact with the FBI before this had happened?
Yeah, they've got documents where she says where the place of employment, and she says she's an FBI employee. I work for the FBI. Oh, okay. Well, hell, she says it.
I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if his whole life that they had put out there was a complete lie. It was just another orchestrated terror plan. Well, there were real people that got hurt and died.
Well, no, it was a terror act, but they're trying to pass it under the rug as if it was at the most an arms deal gone bad. We'll let that little bit slip out there because that's really what it was.
Mm.
And but it's just but then the casino is suing people,
the victims.
Talking about suing people, because you're the victim. I mean, that's America now, really. That's what I mean, man. I just look at all this like, this country's like upside down, man. Retarded, dysfunctional government. It's a joke.
That's what it is. And what you're saying is like correct. Like it shouldn't be citizens even talking about this. Like these journalists should like do everything they can to actually find out more about this second shooter, to do all these things. Like they should be doing this.
Well, I remember
Like independent journalists should jump on this.
Yeah, I remember there were people talking about hearing a second gun. Like I remember like seeing some news reports where people were saying that there was a second gunman, and they heard the gun coming from somewhere else, and then that got swept under the rug. Then there's a computer with a hard drive, and the hard drive the hard drive in the computer was not present, which doesn't make any sense to me, because like, if a guy who has no knowledge about no IT knowledge or computer knowledge, why does he have a laptop with no hard drive in it, and how is he running it, and why would he bring it? You know what I mean? There's too many questions. It's very fishy that Stephen Paddock would have a laptop hooked up to a surveillance system with no hard drive, with no technical knowledge.
And disables the hotel's surveillance too. It's like, come on, give me a break, man. That didn't happen. It just didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And you have the hotel staff helping him up the elevator and all. So it's like, well, what's going on? Why would this guy want to, unless you're trying to smuggle something up to your room, why would you want to use the elevator that the employees use? That's kind of weird. No red flags there.
Yeah, it was an arms deal gone wrong for sure.
Yeah, it's not like blending in the crowd if you like doing such things.
But it looks like he was planning something, because why was he picking? If you look at these other hotels he was at in the days before, he was always at a same kind of location. There was other events going on, like right across the street.
He was even thinking about Lollapalooza, in Chicago.
Yeah, they were up to something that so sooner or later they were going to get the combo right and pull the trigger. Okay, which they did. Yeah, man, it's just sweeping under. Hey, it's only 60 dead bodies, right? 600 wounded. It's a big deal. That's where America's at.
Blame it on the bump stock, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So these journalists are now like the long arm of the government. That's like the situation right now. These journalists should be like jumping on it, and like even if it's for the ratings, right? Even if it's just to like make like popular programs, they should find out all about all these things. That's like real journalism. Like even if it's for ratings, like yeah.
Well, you know what happens to people that do real journalism? They end up in embassies, or they end up with political asylums.
Yeah, but it used to be like these teams versus the government. Like you have like this entire like these newspaper, this entire staff versus like a government, right? They would all work together to do these things. And now it's like one dissident journalist, and
and everybody keeps their mouth shut because they don't want to lose their job. It's all very noble and so what it is cowardly. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Well, a good example is lose my job. Serena Shim, she was killed over her investigative journalism.
It just gets worse.
Yeah.
So okay, just keep going down this path. See how bad it gets. It's amazing. There's things going on that never would have happened when I was growing up 40 years ago. Maybe Micro's old enough. He's it's just different, man. It's hard to describe the world I look at today. It's not right.
Yeah, whatever happened to critical press? Yeah, it's shocking. Then again, they get shot, right? Remember what happened to that French newspaper? All of them got shot and killed.
Charlie Hebdo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got shot for different reasons, too. Who knows what happened there?
Well.
Yeah, and like what happened? Like what's happening to WikiLeaks, right? Of course, it's like a whistleblower platform, but there used to be a lot of media helping out there. Whatever happened to these people? Like, get like the Guardian and others, and they're all like.
He used to have their support. Now he doesn't. Well, the Ecuador. Speaking of Julian, his lawyer had an update today, and talked to RT, And apparently, the Ecuadorian embassy, Ecuador is going to grant his asylum due to, when I read it, was out of actual fear of him being extradited to the U.S. and fear of cruel and unusual punishment. But still, the Ecuadorian government has not allowed him to have contact yet, even though they're granting him asylum. So this is a
Well, it's not asylum then. See, that's the problem.
yeah, that's not
He
asylum.
was actually granted asylum when he stepped through the door, and they said okay. That's the day it started,
Yeah,
whether they want to believe it or not. So he's supposed to have even asylum now, but he doesn't. He doesn't even have that. That's the problem. It's just more of the same, government in the way they operate. They do all this stuff, and they use the words, but then they don't actually do it because he doesn't have asylum.
well, political prisoner.
Yeah, it's
Isn't this what happened to what's his name in South Africa?
Mandela way back.
Mandela. Yeah,
No, well, his was worse because he actually got thrown in jail for a long time.
yeah.
12.
Well, hey, that
12
was wrong
years,
too. But you see what happens now. The blowback.
20 years. What was it? What was it he got for
Yeah,
that?
it was 20 or more. Breaking rocks. Well, but that was part of the plan to give you a communist savior versus a freedom fighter savior. They
Oh.
could have just as easily picked some other guy that was more of a freedom fighter, based more on law and order, but they wanted to hand you a communist leader down the road, so that was the setup for the whole thing.
I haven't. I was following a weird article. I'm not sure if anybody in this panel is even up to what the Uganda politics, and maybe John might know, but this guy named Bobby Wine, I guess, was trying to run for presidency, and he was like a well-known rapper in Uganda, and I believe somebody from the government tried to kill him last week, and he fled to the United States for medical care out of fear of being killed in his own country.
That's the guy who was
Yeah.
being like tortured and
Yeah, they killed his driver, and the bullet was meant for Bobby.
oh yeah, I've seen those pictures. Yeah, he showed these pictures. Yeah. His driver was shot. Like he
Yeah.
said, like this is what happens in Uganda. Yeah,
He'd be a great guest.
God.
You got to be a brave soul to live in Africa.
Well, he
What
wants.
happens there stays there.
What he wants is change in Uganda, and I think he's very genuine about what he's saying. So much so that his opposers want him killed.
Yeah, well, that's a failed government. See, if you can't support an election process and some kind of democratic voting process, you're a failed state. That would be, to me, that's one definition. If you can't even have candidates run without getting killed, then something's wrong.
Well, he opposed. I guess they had extended. Apparently, the president, it had to do with something that he had voted on with the president. The length, the age of a president should be restricted to a certain age, and that's where all the shit started.
Was he too old or too young?
Too old.
Yeah. Well, so you just pick something, man. See, if you're really looking to kill somebody, you just pick something. It's like, hey, we don't like something you sit here about. It's like, it's against the aged, so we're going to kill you. It's like, see, their concerns over something you said about policy now means not just I have to censor you. We're going to get rid of you. So we're really going to censor you.
They almost
good.
did, man.
Yeah.
So it seems that Bobby Wine is now in the United States. By the way.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to go back to Uganda, but I have a feeling he will. But I think
Amnesty International says he will go to Uganda to fight these treason charges.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be saved there. It's just going to be the same thing again for him.
They're just gonna tear him
Yeah.
apart to pieces.
They're gonna hand him over
But the
shackled,
people,
handcuffed.
in Uganda actually love him. You know.
Yeah. They all went they all went to the streets. Like,
Yeah.
demanded him that he had to be released.
So we might see like an Arab Spring there, huh? The Egyptian uprising, kind of.
Possibly.
Well, yeah, except like in the West, you really haven't seen the big explosion or uprising. It's like it's all this nasty stuff's going on, and yet things are fairly stable. You know, there's a little bit of a rumble, but there's no big riots or anything against all this. You know, maybe the Arabs are better than we are. You know, they get tired of it. They overthrow their governments. You know, we don't do that anymore.
Well, we did, the white people did it in Iceland. You know, we did it there.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
no, that's
okay.
true. In
Well, hey,
Iceland,
that's why we support them, right? I mean, they're the example of what you're supposed to do. Bankers fuck up, you throw them in jail. Yeah. You don't make the people pay their bill. I mean, who comes up with that shit except the criminals? Of course they do. Of course they want you to pay for their fuck ups. Who doesn't want that to happen? You know, well, you know, but only in America can they actually make that happen.
I think they had the advantage though because they had in their constitution they legally can, but what they don't have is an army.
yeah, but they're all Vikings. Like every
Yeah.
person living there is a Viking. Like even these women are like more capable of fighting than average Europeans or Americans.
Ugh.
The average temperature around there is in the freezing.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I know. It's really like they had some balls. These people they stood up against the UK, against the Netherlands. Like these countries tried to like enslave Iceland with these huge loans, right? These bankers were going like bankrupt, and they had to like get money from the outside. And UK and the Netherlands pretty much tried to force them into these huge interest loans, like they did to Greece. And these Icelanders just said no. They said like, well, we'll just throw these bankers in jail, and we're not going to pay a cent to you.
It's a lot easier that way, and their economies were better. So while we were over here struggling for 8 years, they bounced back fairly quick. They were way ahead. You know.
Yeah, and the thing is, they got like natural resource. They got these geysers and stuff. They can like become like energy independent easily, and they also got like a very powerful democratic system and stuff. So there's literally no reason other than money to be able to invade them. So there's no country that actually could do anything against them because you can't invade them, make war just over money. That's like, yeah.
I heard everything's very expensive to live there. Like Norway.
Yeah. No, but the energy could be very cheap there. So pay a lot for rent and very little for your electricity.
And get your heat pumping all year long.
Well, it is an island, right? So you have to import a lot of goods. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's more green than cold.
I think it's the other way
I've looked on a lot of maps, and
around the coast.
Shodan being one, Google being another, and a couple other I use. And there's really nothing you can see from satellite of these places like you can, like maybe Amsterdam or New York or somewhere in China. You know what I mean?
There's no big cities.
Yeah, there's nothing. You can see a little spot of railroad tracks here and there. Oh, this is, you see maybe a
one.
shipyard, but that's it. You don't see the homes on satellite. You can see the trees.
Well,
don't see
Google
people's homes.
Google has treaties with governments to not put things on Google Maps.
Well, the military, yeah, but
Yeah.
a lot of stuff is censored. Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
Some
you can go
military
ahead.
bases in my country are also censored. They're just, they're taking off.
You can go look at North Korea right now on satellite views and see there's no electricity there.
no, yeah, very
Yeah.
little.
What was this I heard
You
about
see-
about peace talks? on with North and South Korea?
Well, yeah, the countries want to do it, but of course, we're in the middle of it, and that doesn't
Well, they
serve
should
our
tell.
interest.
They should tell us to go fuck off. They're better off. They're better off.
They should, yeah. If you're a
they should-
sovereign,
Yeah, they should tell us to go fuck off, and and the two Koreas will be reunited, and really, I don't believe it's any of our business to be over there over a war that nobody remembers.
Yeah, there is this Kibono thing for China. I'm not sure what China wants. I mean, China is very influential, and like the US, they might not prefer a united. I'm not sure. It's
Cheap
like a
labor.
competition in production.
And cheap labor.
Yeah, cheap labor, even cheaper labor than China, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
already
so-
facing a competition from Indonesia and these countries. So.
Well, yeah, the North Korean government wasn't doing so well financially that they were a lot of their money was coming in from stealing and drug production.
So they need South Korea's farmlands.
No, North Korea. They had
North Korea.
heroin and meth production. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not working for them no more. They need to make a treaty with South Korea for farmland.
They also believe that they were behind that BitDumb a hack where like $40 million dollars worth of Bitcoin was stolen. I believe it was North Korea.
Oh, yeah.
that's okay to power your black budget stuff with, but you can't run a country on like cultivating heroin and shit like that. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Even if you can do it perpetually.
well, I mean, yeah. But look at that. It's like, okay, if you're a poppy farmer, you got to worry about the Taliban. You got the U.S. flying around. I mean, you got 5 different ways to die. You don't know what these people are going to do. All of a sudden, they're your friend one day. The next day, you pissed off somebody. Here they come shooting. I mean, you don't know what the hell's going on. You're just trying to grow poppies. Come on. It's nuts. Or they force you at gunpoint to do it. It's like, okay, we're going to have a couple of our soldiers. This is our field now. We're going to guard it. So start growing your shit.
Yeah, and it's not like the West is not doing it, right? So why shouldn't they just do it? Like we're doing it too. I mean,
no, there's the pictures of the guys. They're right there. You're walking through the field, so it must be okay.
Yeah, we got to guard this opium production, guys. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
boys, things worth $2 billion on the street.
And people need it for pain.
yeah, like my country is filled with coffee shops, right? They're like selling weed and hash, and this hash is most popular hash is of course Afghanistan hash. So yeah, these Dutch soldiers are also there protecting that kind of stuff in Afghanistan. I'm pretty sure because it's like there's billions of euros being made with that, like every month or so. So
yeah, the moneyed interest that can get into all that, get in early and then get big. They control all that.
yeah,
Or you do it like here, you let the mom and pops kind of get the market going, and then the Monsantos and the Bayers and everybody come in and just, lobby all your politicians. They change the laws. Next thing you know, mom and pop are out of business. The big guys, you're getting Monsanto weed now. That's the American way of doing shit.
Frankenweed.
So, yeah, you got to pay Monsanto now because they tweaked some gene in there. So now we got to pay them extra because they're the good guys.
Here's your
It just
62%
gets old,
THC.
man. It's the same thing over and over. It's fake. All they can do is copy something and make a fake copy of it and try to sell you some fake shit. That's what GMOs are. That's fake shit, man. We tweak a couple genes. We patent it. Under the new America. You can patent a plant. And so now everybody owes us.
the only thing they should do if cannabis has like CBD has so many anti-cancer aspects, That's what these companies should actually do, like increase the effects of that. But sure, they're doing
Oh
that.
well, we can't have a cure. I mean, you can't make in fascist healthcare. You make less money. We can't have a cure.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's that's what they should do. If like CBD really has anti-cancer aspects, make it like
Yeah.
500 times as powerful, right?
I mean, yeah,
Just do this. Like,
They're even finding a new alkaloid in the marijuana plant. It's called THCV, which is in a couple of strains, which is more like a stimulant and it gets the euphoria without all the stoniness. So I mean, there's more research into the plant than they, you know, we're only exploring.
They can't make money off a natural solution.
Yeah.
You can, you know, as a
Population
mom and
control.
pop, you could make the stuff and sell it or whatnot. But as the big company, that model doesn't work. They have to hijack you at a higher level to make the kind of money they need.
Well,
It's
if you're a
population
smart
control.
company, if you're a smart company and you got like the patents on something like that, and you're like the only one selling that stuff, you can make a lot of money. But yeah,
does
Well,
it?
look what they're doing in Canada. You know, that's what they're going through right now. You know, they were going to do the whole, you know, it's legal nationwide, federally and all. And what do they do? Here come the lawyers, man. Oh, you can't do this, you know, and all the regulation.
Yeah,
Running a little mom and pop.
I-
They're destroying it, man.
That's what I
So
heard.
that they can, so that just the big wheels can control the whole thing. It's all a means of control. This is just like, you know, the censorship and all the rest of it. You know, we under a guise we give you a free internet, but it just then becomes another means of control. That's what it's all about with these people. They're sick.
yeah, and the control on cannabis pretty much started with like the rise of the oil industry, like before like oil became popular. Like there were like I think like 40,000 different products made of cannabis and of hemp, and the oil industry pretty much killed all of it, like these plastics and all these things, and like simple things like ropes and clothing was like all made from cannabis, from hemp, and all very durable, all very quality, amazing quality, and yeah, they all illegalized everything on like a drug law, and I think it's even possible to have like cars drive on a cannabis oil. So yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
That car's high, man.
Biodiesel.
yeah, biodiesel, yeah, and these plants grow so fast. There's like you can tweak that too, and it will grow so much biodiesel. I mean, the Germans did it in World War II. I mean, the oil supply was cut off, and they pretty much made biodiesel. So
Yep.
They probably used a lot of hog manure.
yeah, also
You get methane.
Oh, it's potatoes. I think is what the Germans had. More
That's vodka. That's Russian.
synthetic ethanol, I guess.
yeah, ethanol, yeah, and yeah, if you're using like a pig fat, or you're using like a yeah,
Could you
cannabis
imagine
oil, or
could
like
you imagine driving your car and it smells like bacon? How the exhaust like.
Hey, well, that's what it smells like now. You get behind some of these trucks over here, and they got that biodiesel. It smells like Wendy's French fries when you're behind them,
Oh
motherfucker.
yeah, I know. My
Ugh.
cousin,
Yeah,
my
it's-
cousin used to
It does, man.
yeah, he
I'm
used
not
to install
joking.
those systems. Yeah, and we drive around his truck and it literally smelled like fucking French fries. Like, and his system was weird too. I don't know if other people's biodiesel systems were working like this, but the engine he had two tanks. There was diesel, and then once it because the biodiesel burns at slightly higher temperature, so the engine has to be running for like so long, and then you can switch to biodiesel.
yeah, I did have a friend. He just used sunflower oil in like his normal diesel car. I think there's like a tiny mix of a normal diesel in it too. But it was like back then it was 40 cents a liter. I think that's about $180 a gallon. but then, like 1 or 2 years later, suddenly the price was raised to like $2 a liter, and it's now the sunflower oil has like the same price as the normal diesel. They raised the prices, but it also smelled like
Like French
Those-
fries.
French
Those-
fries. Yeah.
Oh, really? I was gonna say maybe it was blowing flowers out the exhaust pipe or something. If you're using sunflower oil.
Yeah, but it works. So I mean, there are alternatives. So yeah, but they don't like it. They don't want you to do that.
Check out Stanley Myers on YouTube. He created the H2O car.
Oh yeah. I have a friend too. He made his car drive for 80% on water.
It's
Uh,
not. That's not a hydrogen
here.
fuel cell. That's like completely running off of water.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
yeah. He was killed over it, so yeah. They didn't want his patent getting out.
That's got to be like an evolution from a hydrogen fuel cell, because if you can use water as a source before it's chemically separated over a PEM, I can't wrap. My mind can't wrap around what the hell he was using.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah,
Baking
That's
soda.
like a
because I know how.
perpetual motion machine. You know. It's,
Well, I know how a PEM works. You know, with the gases, proton exchange membrane, but yeah, maybe something similar with water.
Yeah, the friend I have was able to reduce his usage with 80% by using water. I'm not sure what he did either, but he yeah, like it reduces the gasoline usage with 80%.
Oh yeah, that's what we call hydrogen. You basically put it's electricity from the alternator is put back into a vat and then injected back into the air intake, and yeah, you get like 80% increase on your power and less actual usage on the fuel.
It'll jump your gas mileage at least by 20%, if not 30.
And the hydrogen burns clean,
Yeah, so but the car manufacturers don't like this. They want you to drive on the lithium batteries from the lithium in Afghanistan. So they're not
Because you need
going
brain
to
cancer.
There's no safe way to dispose of them too, like once lithium is exposed to air, it turns into lithium oxide and it can get unstable too.
Now, Tyler, quit talking like that because I mean you really piss off these greenies when you tell them those batteries are worse than the fucking gasoline car.
They
are.
They're fucking
Man.
toxic and like
They
and like
yeah,
it's,
they
and like I don't know, like I'm not I'm not like that well versed in chemistry to know what happens to like if you can actually use lithium oxide like safely or recycle it and turn it back into lithium. So, but I'm pretty sure once it's been exposed to air and turned.
keyword Prius. What did I say wrong? Damn it.
Prius.
God,
You
we're back
insulted a
up.
Prius
We're back
owner.
up.
batteries, lithium, man, I don't know.
We're back up. We're back live. Yeah.
Those batteries are cost by, I think, man, boy told me yesterday, $8,000 just for the battery.
Something like that. Yeah. That's
Well, what a great deal, right? I mean, it's
That's 5-car engines. Shit,
that's very green. That's what's called green in America. Yeah. I mean, come on, that's delusional, man. Does anybody really believe that? Well, what am I saying? There's a lot of people that believe that. If you spray that shit, you run a bunch of ads, Toyota ads, and oh yeah, here's the Prius. Yeah, we're so green. People believe it. Well, they said they were green. Well, but are they? See, did you ask yourself? And does any of this even sound right or make sense? No, you didn't even ask yourself that.
Well,
you didn't even, in your own mind, you didn't even question it. You said, oh well, they said it was green. So.
I mean, there are even drawbacks. Even with the hydrogen fuel cells, like they're great and all if you live like in a place that's above sub-zero, but I'm pretty sure because of the water that is expelled from the combination of over the PEM with the hydrogen and the oxygen, like I'm pretty sure in sub-zero temperatures there's got to be some limitations of a hydrogen fuel cell, so there's probably always going to be a need for especially sub-zero places for. I hate to say this for oil, or gasoline engines.
I mean, add a little tomato paste to it, man. Give it a little. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, even electric, batteries don't work well in sub-zero places. They start
Right.
losing their charge.
Pour a little V8 in it. Oh,
Yeah, I
Well,
wish I
you-
knew more about these cars and stuff. Like, you could really change something, I guess. Like, all the world is driving cars. So.
well, they're putting glow plugs in them now, which they actually have to warm instead of the spark plugs. I'm talking machines. We'll go machines.
You mean you mean diesel glow plugs?
Yeah, they put them in gas cars now as well. I've seen a car that runs off oxygen. I've seen them run off of nitrogen. A lot of car shows, you see these little chopped up little monsters come in. The guy came in with I have no idea what it was called. It was made out of 5 different mini trucks that had Cadillac rims on it, Cadillac headlights and taillights, Ford body, Chevrolet chassis. And it run off of oxygen. It had little small oxygen tanks in the back like nitrous, and it was just rolling through.
Shit's gotta be loud as fuck.
Yeah, when his hydraulic system run off of it too. Every time he hit a switch, you could hear it sound like a nail gun going off. Yeah.
Hey, we got a good amount of people watching on YouTube. Someone asks what the panel thinks about global warming.
It's
Yep.
definitely real, and I've done a lot of, not a lot of research, but it's something that I've been following for a long time, and the climate is changing, and so much so that in Greenland is I think it's 90% covered by a glacier, and there's bringing in a lot of scientists to see the degradation of all the glaciers, and it's global warming is definitely going on. That there's no doubt about it. Some people say it's the opposite. If you start putting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, the trees will absorb it and grow bigger. But that's not always the case, because there's
Well, there's the question. Global warming is real, of course, but is it does man have influence on it, or is it all natural?
I
I
could-
say it's natural because man is part of the environment.
there you go.
It has to be natural. So
Okay, yeah, but to be more precise, you have all these industry, all the industry of the world working together, and then you have one volcano eruption, and it creates more.
Pollution
Uh,
than we can
no.
do. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
So we're just unlucky
Well-
if even if we stop everything, if we're unlucky because some volcano erupts and we're all fucked anyway.
Well, I mean, what we're doing to the environment is it's not helping it. I can tell you that. There you
yeah,
go.
you look at industrial runoff, and I mean, now I agree with that. I mean, operations need to be as clean as they can be, because just
Exactly.
dumping it in the water is not what you should be doing. So that part of it needs to be controlled for sure. But are we, because the Earth has been both hotter and colder before we were ever part of the equation? The argument, that are we really affecting it that much? In my mind, no. Because the range can be so wide, and we haven't. I mean, you've been in the Industrial Revolution for 150, 200 years now. So, if it was something super bad, we would have already affected it in that amount of time. You've had more than amount of time to. So if you're up a degree or whatever they say it might be, a degree and a half, whatever. That's not too bad. I don't look at that as a big deal.
Inclement weather is my excuse for that. California's burning. You got a hurricane over here. You got earthquake over there, and it's all in tandem, one right behind the other. And
You know,
I don't know.
but earthquakes can happen all the time. I mean, you know, you look at forest management in California, and if you want to stop wildfires, then go clean out the forest, and they won't burn so hot. You know, I mean, these are all knowns. You know, really, you know, because fires weren't that big before out there 50 years ago. There was far less people,
Well,
and the
because
fires were
all the
10% of the size
all
that
the
they are
fires, I
now.
believe, are like I said this before the show. Like I believe most of the fires that are started in California are started by people.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah,
maybe
or on
trying to
purpose.
hide
Yeah.
evidence or something, throwing a
Yeah.
cigarette out. Yeah,
Oh,
hey, let's see if this will blow up here.
Well,
Or,
now you know that used to be. Yeah, it used to be accidents like you call them accidents. What if somebody throws a cigarette butt out? Now it's like the BLM. You got your government trying to burn you out, and then with all these policies and Agenda 20 and all the rest, get you off the land. I mean, so it looks very different. You know, there was just. I'm telling you, man, it's like that's what I mean. It's like the world I grew up in 40, 50 years ago is not what you're looking at today. That's all I can tell you. I
you
don't know
buy what,
why.
a 2-story house for like what, $2,000 back in the '70s? Now it's like what, 200,000 for a 2-story house.
Yeah, I think like the one here, it's gone up 10 times, you know, roughly, you know.
You
Well,
could
that's
get a
the
car for
Federal
like
Reserve,
5
you
or
know.
8,000, and now it's like 50 or 80,000 for a car.
Yeah, well, that's the Federal Reserve looking out for you with their 2 to 3% inflation every year. They're screwing you over real good, man. Doesn't take very long either. 10, 15, 20 years of that, your bank account's shot. Yeah, so it's what you put up with. You know. If you
A
want a
hundred.
bunch of rich bankers stealing all your money that rightfully belongs to your country, then just have one of your schmuck progressive presidents like Woodrow Wilson sign it over to them. You know, it's okay. It's okay.
You spend 80% of your budget anyways. You know, you got groceries, you got gas, you got electric bill, you got insurance, you got child care, you got all this, ramped up on you, and you're like, oh, hey, and here's $20. Let me put this up for that $150,000 retirement I got to have. And that $150,000 ain't enough. Not if you
Not
like
when
say
you're not when you're
lose your
65.
roof or your hot water heater busts. That's going to eat up 150 grand. It's not like you can wait. I'll just get it off the interest. It's not going to happen.
No, because you don't get any interest anymore. They took care of that way. What was it, about 05 or 06 when they started going down the scheme of people who put money in their bank. You know, you used to get what 5-6%. You know, hey, if you had $1 million in the bank, you were looking pretty good. That's 50, 60 grand a year. Well, what are you getting now? 1%, if you're lucky.
Yeah, 15,000,
Yeah,
15
it's
in the
just
bank right now is you'll
it's
get
just
an
more.
extra $1.50 a month.
It's the crony capitalism. It doesn't run like a normal banking system anymore. They can corrupt it to the point where you see what you do now. You know, what I mean, it's just so that big companies, so that it inverts the system so that now big companies can get free money from the government. You pay for it, and they get the free money. It's a great system, but it's not for you. 95% of that wealth goes to them, not you, but you get to pay for it. That's the new America, man. Land of the free, home of the brave.
Redistribution of wealth.
Yeah,
That's all it is. Debt
that's
trade.
exactly.
Redistribution of debt.
It's
Yeah, there
it's
you go.
privatization. Yeah, it's the way our system works. There's two tiered. It's you privatize your profits and you socialize risks. In the inverted Robin Hood system, that's how it works. The rich get to stick the bill to the poor people because that's what the good guys do. That's what good guys like Hillary get to do and kill people and steal money and all the rest of it. And there's no consequences for that. There's no law, even though there is for them. Right? I mean, we know the law's there. If Tyler, if you or I did that, you know where we'd be.
Prison.
Fucking Guantanamo Bay, man. Right? I mean, you just can't do that. Oh, but if you're the wife of the bastard son of a Rockefeller, you can do that shit. That's why this country is a joke. Right now, it is a joke.
Okay, I got two things. The first thing is someone asks if Tyler, can you explain the 5G thing again? And second is Big Baby wants to say hi to
Oh,
us.
I don't think I talked about 5G today, but I do have some
Hello.
news about that.
Yeah, what's
Uh,
this big baby thing? That's what I'm more interested in. Forget 5G.
No, Big Baby wants to say hi to us. We know
uh,
him.
well,
He's not.
there's a lot of people, there's a lot of controversy about 5G, and I don't buy into that it's dangerous. Like people are saying, they're using the same bandwidth, they're using the same cellular bands, at least here in the states, to use the 5G. Um, to use 5G, but some people think that it will cause cancer, and the increased microwave radiation will is dangerous to your health. Um, I don't honestly,
Sweating.
I don't know. Like I don't think
I don't
enough.
see how
I don't see. Yeah,
they're already hitting you with frequencies that are right around microwave radiation anyway. I mean, that's the worst one
but they're
right
using
there.
it's almost the
No,
same
so
bands. They're almost like almost like just a few. The bands that they're using to implement the 5G networks in the United States are very similar to the ones they're using on 4G.
yeah,
So,
as long as you well, it's like anything. You don't want to stick your phone up to your head. I
well,
mean,
I
a
mean,
lot
yeah,
of people do it, but it's not
I
good.
don't think
So,
it's safe to go up to a cellular tower and like put your head in front of it. Like, yeah, that's not obviously not
no.
safe, but here's the deal: is that wirelessly we are going to need increased data speeds. Um, I mean, unless you're comfortable with 4G speeds, which some people are, but I don't know. 5G should have actually been here about 5 years ago, and I don't know why it was never implemented and why it's a thing now. Um, um,
They were scared.
Well, I know. Australia banned a company, Huawei, the cellular company. They banned them from implementing their 5G network over privacy concerns, and it wasn't over concerns over the whether it would cause any problems in health wise. It was just that they didn't want a Chinese based company implementing their wireless networks. That was it.
Well, that makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
the national security type
It was
thing.
just for security. Yeah.
Well, is everyone ready for smart cities? Is that what they want? Smart cities? Cameras everywhere. We already have this now facial recognition technology just to go in your home. Uh, you walk down the street. Your kid's uncomfortable to pee in a bathroom, and because that's where it's going. It's going to go to a smart city. All these APIs. Everybody working on backroom or whatever, they're going to be running off of this 5G, and they're going to come and say, hey, we're here to build your car. Hey, we're here to make your Tupperware have a good day. We just need a supervisor. That's it.
Well,
Someone just to make sure they're working.
You know what I do see though, which is going to be a controversy once 5G is actually like mainstream, is what are the data caps going to be? The data caps that the cellular companies have, which I happen to be on one where it most of them say that they're unlimited, but they're not really unlimited. They limit it goes through a filter after so many gigabytes. But when you start getting into a 5G network, you're going to start hitting these data caps much quicker. Um, Mostly,
Well, how come if you're opening up the bandwidth, how come why I don't see the association there between
well,
why there have to be caps if
yeah,
you're
I don't.
expanding your
Yeah,
network.
I don't. Yeah, I don't understand the caps either. I don't understand the point in charging per data per megabyte or gigabyte. I really don't understand any of that.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
fucked up social. That was AT
that
and
was more
T.
a say
That
yeah,
was
that was a sales thing to
AT&T
respond to
started that
the
after they acquired Singular.
yeah, well, it's like everything. It's an open, when they're first trying to get out there, it's all unlimited. They're just trying to get people into it. And then as the bandwidth starts to get taken up, then they have to start throttling you back. But they already promised you in the contract it was unlimited, right? So then we have to redefine what unlimited means.
Well,
That's now
it's not
32
we-
gigabyte a month. You
Yeah,
know, that's
we don't have
unlimited.
to. We literally don't have to worry about data hogging. We don't have to worry about setting limits on people. It doesn't cost any more to send packets from one place to another wirelessly. Energy wise, like it doesn't make any sense why anybody would have to charge for that service once they reach a certain point. It makes absolutely no sense to me. The equipment's been paid for. It's all done. It's all said and done.
Right.
It's just another way to make money off of you for something that they can charge you for.
Yeah, it's a tax. But they'll call it's fee generation. They can put a tax on your bill and just call it a fee instead. And it's for 911 services. Let's just make it up. You can make it up. It doesn't have to.
I
It doesn't have to actually be
remember
real.
one time. This is really fucked up, and I don't know if AT&T does this like globally, but I remember I had fiber optic or fiber to the curb at one point, and Uvers had no data caps. That was when I lived in one place, but they moved to another part of the country, and I remember that the home internet there was unlimited data, right? And then I was going through my because they had I was going through my plan, and I had read something that I had a 250 gigabyte limit on my internet. Yeah, home-based internet, and I was just like, and I called 18. I go, what the fuck is this shit? And they're like, oh, you signed this when you renewed your contract. And I was like, well, I wouldn't have gotten back with you guys if I would have known that I had a data cap on home internet.
Yeah, I've hit that before. Well, more with dial-up. I remember there was limits even back in that day.
This
but,
was like 2014 or 15 when I ran into that.
Yeah, I guess you will. Now, if they wait too long on the expansion and things do get compressed, you're going to see more caps like that because they will have to limit you.
Well, now that
to keep everything going.
Well, now that Title II is gone with the FCC, with the internet, you will see they can do stuff like that now again.
Well, it's that ever-changing contract. It's like ever-changing terms of service. It's just like things that were okay a few years ago. Now they get you censored. You don't even get a strike. We just don't like you anymore. So you're off Facebook and Twitter and the rest of it. You just don't get to participate. Because we're so progressive. That's the new America, where your concerns overwrite rights. It's a great system. It's the nanny system. That's what it is. Oh, do you have your hall pass, Tyler? Can't get in your car if you don't have a hall pass. Oh, did we excuse you from your chair to go to the bathroom? That's not allowed. Only 5 minutes a day when you first come in, before you clock in. Because we have to have rules, right? It's just whatever. It's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever seen in my lifetime, man. That's what it is. A bunch of people gone nuts. Coward for a government. It's sick.
Well, they just let everybody, the big corporate companies just dictate whatever the fuck they want to do. And they're above laws on the courts because they have the money.
Yeah, I mean, they run the show now, so it's going to get crazy, man. Because, if you can literally run your corporation any way you want, you never could get away with that before. It's like, wait a minute, if you're a realtor or, in the rental business, you couldn't discriminate against somebody. That's been long done with years ago.
Remember the government went
after.
So
how come it's okay now?
The government actually went after Microsoft. Remember, they just got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, they got caught doing all their bad stuff. Well, that was a precursor of things to come. It's like, it's all a big joke.
It's a shit show.
You're gonna. So if you hit us with $1 billion court thing in the EU, well, we just jack your software up $15 in the US. It's no big deal, and you'll pay it because we're the only guys in town, mandated by the government and CIA and all the rest of it. So. This is what you get. No competition. You get stuck with Microsoft for 40 fucking years and all their stupid shit. All all they do is throw out software and let the users alpha test it for them.
Rehash it.
it's yeah, so that's what you get. It's just, that's the way it's going to be from now on. It's like,
Hey, look, yeah, last year's script would have upgrade.
Wait, what?
well, at least Linux is 6% of the market, but I mean,
Well,
that's
actually,
you just-
that was something that I actually was going to talk about. This is really weird. So, yeah, now in the Windows Store, the Windows Store, the Windows Play Store, or the Windows not in the Google Play Store, but the Windows Store. Now you can get Linux. You've been able to get Linux subsystems within Windows for about a year, but now out of the Windows Store, you can now out of the box use Hyper-V, which is a VM of Ubuntu from the Windows Store, which is I'm kind of gradually seeing a merger of Linux-based operating systems with Windows, which is kind of inevitable, but it worries me because after they acquired GitHub, like this might be part of like some master plan,
Oh, it is.
Stop
Yeah, sure.
open source.
Yeah, they're
John,
going
you
to
there?
stop open source down the line. They're not going to let you. This is how it all starts. We give you stuff free in the beginning. It's all going to be great. We're here to help and so forth. 10, 15 years down the line, it's all going to get switched to where, oh, look, Microsoft bought Linux. Now it's a pay thing. Now they're 100% of the market. Now they're telling you what to do. Oh, now Linux is all screwed up. Gee, what a surprise.
Well,
it's
like technically they can't do that because of the GNU licensing, which for all Linux distributions are open source. Correct me if I'm wrong, John.
No, it is correct. It's correct.
Yeah,
Debian and other distributions
But-
are all adapted GNU. So.
but I believe Ubuntu and Red Hat do make some money from server support. Am I correct about that?
That is correct, but also there are paid apps. Like you can install stuff on Linux too. That you can just pay for that stuff, right? So,
I bet you.
but there
anything-
are like for most software there are like also free alternatives, and there are like diehards from like the GNU movement who say like you shouldn't have any paid apps at all. But like Ubuntu and others, they do make use of a lot of paid apps you can actually download. So, yeah.
I thought Ubuntu got caught like selling, like behind the scenes, they were selling search engine queries that were run through the software.
Oh, yeah, that was a huge scandal. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure
mean-
if they're doing it still, but I should read up on that. Like, yeah, they were like literally like the searches you were doing on your operating system. They were literally sending those searches to Amazon servers, and you would get like advertisements on your stuff based on those searches. Like, yeah.
Well, honestly, what the reason I see this merger coming inevitable, is what we're seeing, a lot of the back end stuff, that's, well, personally, I believe that, Linux is a much stronger operating system than Windows, and you can run it with less hardware. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna move to the ext4 journal system, or you know what I mean. I don't.
Debian stretch.
Yeah, in the professional market, in like the server market, like Windows is no competition to the
Apache,
different
yeah.
Linux. Yeah, like I mean, everything runs on Linux. Like there's like the consumer market is like 90+% Windows, I guess, or now is Apple is on the move, but in the professional market, it is like 90+% Linux distributions, either like Debian or like CentOS or other Red Hat adaptations. So yeah.
Mandrake's great for gaming.
Well, that's a new thing that we're seeing, now. Ubuntu, a lot of people are gaming on Linux now. Well, not a lot, but there's a small market of people that are gaming on Linux.
Yeah, and you got the Wine thing too now for Linux. Like you can run Windows software on your
Yeah.
Linux.
Yeah, the
Oh.
only thing that's always lacking is driver support.
Yeah, always crap.
It's always shit. If you can't find it, you gotta make it.
Well, maybe Microsoft will have more open sources instead now and work with it.
Microsoft
It's
will
not
aim
the-
for partnerships with open source community. Guarantee that, because they're not going to be able to beat Apple and Google much longer. These people are going to change everything.
Well, it's not
So-
Microsoft style. They like to, when they go after something, they take it over down the line. I mean, you've seen how they've operated all these years. There's no reason to think this will be any different. I think it's bad long term, personally. It's just like he's in way too deep, and it's just it can't turn out good. It never does the way he thinks.
That is true. They are like very old on the market. I mean, they got a lot more experience than, like, for example, Google. Like Microsoft has been around much longer, so they know actually how that market works. But yeah,
Well, they took Bungie's Halo game from them.
Who?
Microsoft. They took Bungie's Halo game from them. If you're a gamer and you played Halo, it used to be a Bungie game, and then Microsoft bought them. They pretty much took it from them. They forced them to do so.
That seems
it was very popular on the Xbox too. So
Yeah. It was the only thing that kept Xbox alive for a long while.
yeah,
Somebody's asking, is someone whether Russia is creating a no-fly zone around Israel? I'm not entirely
Around Syria, maybe not Israel.
I'm not entirely sure, but I did hear about the Israelis shooting down the Russian plane.
Russia blames Israel for that. Yeah, it's true. It's said by the Hal Turner radio show, Russia imposes no-fly zone for Israeli military. Interesting. I don't think Israelis are actually going to listen to that kind of stuff.
Really?
That's not normally what they do, man. They just keep coming at you. That's why they get in the trouble they do, and then they get their ass handed to them every 100 or 200 years or whatever. It's push their luck too far. And
Oh, it is actually happening at this very moment. They're like posting updates on it.
Yeah, I haven't been following that story too well to have an opinion on it.
It's been the last week or two, no clue.
no, it's that the plane got shut down. That's last like 2 or 3 days. I want to say it's real recent.
Nothing recent.
No, you're busy with all your camping over there in North Carolina. The forced camping vacation. Checking your
water.
preparedness, it's like
Hurt the
Mother
courthouse a lot. Court's closed all week. No revenue there. Done us a
Yeah,
oh
favor.
man.
Pretty much happened all on the 19th, so that's like 2 days ago. And
Yeah.
so the Russian government instructed 14 Russian naval vessels to begin enforcing a no-fly zone. They issued a notice to airmen and mariners, NOTAM, for the airspace around Israel being closed below 19,000 feet for a Russian naval missile exercise. And Russia asked Iran for permission to station Russian fighter jets, bombers, and refueling tankers at the Noye military airbase in northwestern Iran, as seen on the map below. Full air superiority over all of Syria 24/7. Iran brings in S-300 anti-aircraft systems to Syria. So yeah, something going on there for sure. The U.S. Navy has notified all its vessels and aircraft of the following no-fly zones, and that shows a little map of stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're gonna get the war they wish for here pretty soon. I don't know.
The Armageddon.
Yeah, I mean, just keep pushing, doing what you're doing. You're on track. So this is
Yeah, it's like
just keep doing it. I don't
all
see
these books, man. They keep on telling about, in the Holy Land, and tell Megiddo, like just saying. Or if you believe in the Quran, it's what is it, Damascus?
Yeah, I kind of got mixed feelings about it. I mean, I'm not sure what the United States is doing there. It's like on the other side of the world. I mean, stay away from
We're
there.
always
Like,
mixed
Well,
up
no,
in everything.
we have an empire to expand. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're doing. I mean, it's just you can believe the propaganda or whatever they're telling you on TV, but that's what's been going on for at least 70 to 80 years now. I mean, we took over the British's job of being the global police force, sea force, etc. Global empire. But we got to expand it. We got to do because we're at war like in 20 countries now. You don't even see it on the news. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the hell.
how can you be at war with like 20 countries at once and like still be expanding and like,
Wow, it's incredible. It's the new empire, man. This is the new America. We're spreading. See, bombs. Those are love bombs.
Yeah.
You have to
Those
change
those
the
are
lingo.
liberation bombs.
Those are freedom rockets and liberty bullets. Then it all makes sense. Like we're spreading democracy. We're really just killing you for your resources in case you haven't figured it out yet. That's what's really going on. But yeah, we're spreading freedom and democracy. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Same thing happened in Libya.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Yeah.
and
We
they warned
came,
they
we
warned
saw
my,
it, he died.
No, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's like, well, Hillary said it. We came, we saw, he died.
Yeah,
It's real simple. Yeah. And of course, you got a slave market now. We fucked up your economy and your oil sales and all that. But you're a lot better off now, right? Since we showed up.
They want my country again. I'm not a fan of the United Nations, right? It's like a super globalist agenda stuff. But the UN court in The Hague was like hinting at investigating United States war crimes. They were like literally just hinting at it, right? They were not even planning it yet. And Americans literally brought this warning out, like, they will not accept anything like that, and they will free their people with force. And they're literally talking like about one of its closest allies. I mean, the country is like a tiny country, but it always sends like troops to help out the United States. Like literally, we don't have any tanks, right? We just have to like send in troops always to help the United States. And
see, that's what happens. War criminal. What we're doing is not war criminals. That's what our politicians think, even though it is. I mean, everybody knows it is. That's what they are. They're war criminals. But they get really excited when you start talking about it and bringing it up and say, hey, you know what? The rest of the world's really not too keen on what you guys are doing. It's like, oh, fuck them. That's the answer.
yeah, but they don't really seem to understand that there is like a justice system. Like there are people, there are like lawyers, and they can it's just like a real court, right? There's a lawyer, and they just go to this court and they say like, I want to investigate this stuff, and I want to like press charges against these people. So you have to investigate it. And like in this law system that is like built in here in my country, like they just do this investigation, but they're not even allowed to start on it because they're already being threatened.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to do a legal investigation. They're not even saying like we're putting in sanctions or whatever. Nothing. They just
Well, that's America. We don't respect anybody's sovereignty anymore.
No.
We talk about sovereign nations all day long, and then we go bomb them without any authorization, without any okay. We just do it, because we can. And you're like the big bully on the block now. Somebody gets a little out of line, like you guys. You don't like what's going on. Well, then we're going to have to hammer you. you're not talking right.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's the New Deal. You don't really have a say. We're just going to threaten your economy until you get the idea.
Yeah, but it also gives like a sense of insecurity from United States government because Dutch law and that for the law in The Hague allows for a complete United States interpretation of the law. So if they would be like put in court there, they could use the entire United States law to defend themselves. It allows the law system to be trialed on United States law. So if they feel they are right, then they could just join, participate.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they make that claim here. See, they claim that they have changed the Constitution so that they can legally do all these things now. Well, they didn't do that. You never went through the process of changing the Constitution so that you could do all this. You're just full of shit. You just, with a stroke of a pen, said you could do all this, but there's nothing legal about it. That's why they don't want to talk about it, because there is no defending it. That's why they have to threaten you. They're they've gone down a path. They're mentally ill. They've gone down a path of destruction and psychopathy, etc. And they're leading you and your government into this zone. This is why you see what you do. It's not normal.
yeah,
It's not. I mean, you don't. It's like, hey, well, think about it. It's just like, if you're trying to strike up a friendship, you just go over to this guy and tell him, hey, I want your car. I'll pay you $5,000 for it. Well, it's not for sale. Hey, look, guy, I told you I want to buy this car for $5,000. Well, I did. It's not for sale. And so you pull out your pistol and you stick it in his face. It's like, look, buddy, so that's the deal. It's not. It's not free trade. It's not. We're working together. It's
how would you put up sanctions? If the United States would put up sanctions, economic sanctions, against the Netherlands, that is the weirdest thing ever. It goes both ways, the Netherlands is the only European harbor big enough to take in United States container ships, for example. So how are you going to get your goods in the European Union even? There's no other harbor able to take you. There's only Rotterdam harbor is big enough. That's just an example. You have to sell your goods to the European Union, right? Or are you going to? Yeah.
Well, no. Well, see, our reaction would be, oh, well, you won't let us use your harbor. Well, we're just going to blow up your harbor for you. That would be it. That's
probably.
Isn't that? Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, we're not here. We're not here. It's not a dialogue and an even exchange anymore. That's our problem. It's a mental problem. We don't respect you. We want something. We're going to take it. We'll ask you.
I've read about it.
There's really no saying no. If it's something we want, well, we're coming in and you're going to get it.
Mm-hmm. There's even the Hague Invasion Act. I've read about it. It's literally created by George Bush back then. They literally have an invasion act of the Netherlands, which is after the UK, the closest partner of the United States. Literally the closest NATO partner of the United States. And they got an invasion plan. If the Netherlands would arrest any American official, they got an invasion plan to release them, to destroy our government and to take it all over. Are you kidding me?
They're not kidding. I mean,
no, they really are.
They're serious.
The Hague Invasion
plan. If our government says something like that, what they're telling you is, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen to you, because they don't care. They really don't care about international law. That's just something they use as a prop when it's convenient and when everybody's on board. And then when it's inconvenient, then they're no longer interested in the UN, and we're going to do all these things in 20 countries plus, and we don't care about resolutions and so forth. It's just, that's the type of mentality that you're dealing with.
Well, it's because Americans will go to these other countries and not have common sense enough not to break a window or spray paint a car. Common sense when you go to these places.
Yeah, you have to, if you're dealing with anybody, there's a way of dealing with people in a friendly manner, for mutual trade, etc. So it's a dialogue. It's a two-way deal. But just like that. It's like, see, you can't even bring something like that up in the international court, and the next thing you know, we're ready to blow up your harbor, right? Well, what's the overreaction? What's the problem, boys? You know, it was okay when it was, you know, German generals and war criminals, but now that it's your guys and your government, we don't want to talk about it, really, because everybody sees that for what it is. That's the problem, you know. All these crimes and criminals, they're not even smart enough to not get caught. They just do it brazenly so everybody sees it, and then they wonder, it's like, oh, well, why is everybody in a huff? Well, gee, you just bomb everybody. You don't give a shit. You threaten everybody. Like, you know, you're your own your own partners. You know, your allies.
Yeah, there are convictions against the United States government for war crimes in Nicaragua in the past. They were convicted. They should actually pay damage costs to Nicaragua for the damage they did, but there's nothing ever happens like that.
No, it's yeah. I mean, there are officials that are blocked from certain countries. I see it. Well, they just don't go there. But yeah, there is no prosecution. There is no like, okay, this now court order gets handed over to Interpol, and then the Interpol cops come get the guys. No. It's just, you know, that's the special people. They don't. That's the law for the little people.
Yeah,
Special
you're talking
people
about,
don't have to worry about that. That's just talk. You know, we're just talking now.
Yeah, you're talking about the biggest army, biggest government like in the world. There's no one ever going to do anything. So, yeah, you can't arrest United States personnel. But yeah, there are like in the law, if like let's say like Obama gets convicted for drone strikes and stuff, and there is a possibility to do a civilian arrest, right? I mean, should he ever like visit Amsterdam to go and like smoke weed or something? Like the civilians could arrest him. Like they could like beat up his security guards and just arrest him, and he'll be put in some jail cell, like in a Dutch jail cell. But and then the Americans have like this invasion act, and they could just invade our country. And they didn't even think about implications of that, because they're the closest partner of my country is actually Germany, which is also a big NATO partner, but it's like for 80% dependent on Dutch export. So yeah, you're dealing with a lot of like.
They have to stand. Here's the thing. I mean, you guys have to stand on principle, because if you don't, it just gets worse. This is the same thing they do to the citizen/slave here in America. It's just like they tell you have all these rights, but then the moment you try to do something, here's somebody to tell you how it is, or else, right? Or else we treat you bad, throw you in jail, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You know, it's the same kind of mentality. So, yeah, you potentially have some price to pay if you stand up in this instance. But if you don't, they've already told you how it is. If you will bow to that threat, then you'll bow to anything. That's what you would tell them in a metaphysical sense, as a psychopathic government looking at another government. If you do, well, then we could just do anything to you. You're okay with that. That's the precedent. You know, we can threaten you and you back down. Okay, well, we're okay with that.
And then you have these European globalists, and they already have an answer to this. They're saying like, the European Union needs to become like federal, and it needs a European army, right, and a European police, and they are going to these globalists are using this, and they're going to make a European army, and it will actually be a huge power block then. But it's not going to be nice for us. Like, it's going to be like the end of sovereign countries.
Yep. You have George Soros and Juncker running you for life, because they're the guys now.
Yeah, well, at the moment it's created, it's not going to be removed ever again. So you have to stop it while you still can, because when it's there, it's not going to be taken away anymore. It's there for forever. So,
So it was a sham deal from. See, that's how you know it was a sham deal from the beginning, Because if you're entering into a compact and it's all like, hey, we're all agreeing to do this, but then everything changes the moment I join. Oh, wait a minute, what? I can't leave. What are you talking about? Where was the lock-in? Nobody ever said, you come and go as you please, right? It's an open compact with a group of countries. Well, where did it all flip into? Oh, well, now you join, and now we're like MS-13. You can't leave. You're part of the gang now. Oh, where does that come from?
Yeah, but like, can you imagine in the United States now? Can you imagine like an area like Florida leaving the United States, like becoming like a separate country?
Well, that's been spoken about a few times.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's happened in, not all that long ago for us. Well, you have breakaway. You got like California, what's a breakaway state. They don't want to do their borders. They want to bring all these people in. They counter to federal law. Now, some of that's okay. Others, it's not. If you're truly following the Constitution. But they're essentially a breakaway state. But in the new America, you don't actually have to break away. You can just be your own zone, call it the California zone, and you just do whatever you do over there. And if you follow federal law or you don't, it doesn't really matter because our government's not going to do anything about it. They don't give a shit. It's all about, they're worried about other things, making deals. And this government is not here to defend your individual rights as a citizen. You can just forget that. That's not what's going on. They're not interested in defending any of it, see? They have a breakaway state. We're not going to get them in line or do anything to them. Well, that's the new standard. You just, we don't go to a civil war or fight about that anymore. We just let you guys do whatever we want because we really don't stand for anything.
Yeah.
Truthfully, you don't. Like whatever we can steal and get away with, that's what we stand for.
Okay. Something unrelated. Someone was asking in the chat if we heard about Putin now saying Israel didn't do 9/11 and what we think about it.
I didn't hear about any of that.
No,
I mean, no, they were a part of it. I don't know. I wouldn't say they were the biggest part of it because our government was the biggest part of that.
Yeah,
In order for all that to happen, I mean, that was our government doing that to ourselves.
You have to look at who benefits from this kind of stuff. And, that's sure. Yeah. America, you obviously benefited from it. It is like ironic to say, but it has like 3,000 people died there. But yeah.
Well, American elites and banking and corporations, military industrial complex, they've made a fortune off this deal. They've done really well. The country's far more in the hole, and all the rest of it, rights taken away. It's amazing how this is how screwed up the mind is, where your government could tell you that we're going to take away your rights, and then we'll even in the inverted world, we'll call this taking away of your rights the Patriot Act, when it's really the Anti-Constitution Act, because something happened and we hit two towers got knocked down. we now have to take away your rights. Well, how are those two things connected? Where does that come from? I mean, you talk about an agenda that's pretty blind. Anybody could see it.
Even from that, they benefited. Like you have like the wiretapping stuff, the signal intelligence program. So and they're using it in France too, for example. And now I've read in the past, as a few years ago, that Airbus made like a huge deal to sell airplanes to some country. Then, of course, signal intelligence is ran by the United States. So the United States tapped the information, and next day, Boeing gave a better deal to this country, and the country actually bought the Boeing airplanes. So they were actually abusing it for commercial advantage against Airbus, which was like a French company. So yeah, even that they're not even using against terrorism or whatever. They're using it for commercial advantage.
And
Yeah, there used to be laws. Monopoly laws used to be a lot of things
monopoly laws.
prevent all this, but not anymore.
Yeah. Did you hear some of the Google employees had resigned after because the Google is really doing this censored search engine, and now some of them are resigning from Project Dragonfly.
Good. A lot of them said they were going to quit anyways because for the big issue over the reverse search engines for people's faces. So yeah, good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that like Google is trying to like expand their services to like even though they're a shitbag fucking company, like to like China, like trying to offer a search engine obviously to make more money at the expense of censorship, which they're already doing. Like you do Google search, it's already tracked, it's traced, it's censored. There are certain things you cannot find on a Google search. Actually, a lot of things you can't find on a Google search to be just being real.
Yeah, it's not really even a good search engine anymore. Honestly, I've stopped using.
You
Yeah,
know
use
what? You know,
DuckDuckGo,
is-
Showdown.
I don't. What I don't understand is, how embedded it is to like most browsers, and that's conspiracy within itself. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you buy an Android, built-in Chrome. Um, uh, um, see, Firefox, I don't know what the fuck they're doing right now, but at one point, I believe out of the box they were using Google, or was it Yahoo? I think I'm wrong. I think it was Yahoo.
Well, see, they're
I
the
prefer
problem
the
with getting rid of all.
address. You need the address bar. Search engine's a good way to catch a phishing scam or anything. Search engines suck.
Well, I remember search engines back in the early days of the internet. They were horrible. Fucking horrible. The best one I used was one called Dogpile, which used.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, like I
Yep.
couldn't find shit on the internet. Like Yahoo was.
I want to say they're still around, but
Yeah, because Dogpile would use all the search engines, and it would just search all of them at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, web crawler, right?
No, Dogpile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a web crawler, kind of like people.com. You type it in, and it crawls all these other search engines and websites and look for it and bring it back to you in one spot. Yeah.
yeah, you want to look at it that way, yeah.
Well, like Ask Jeeves and Yahoo and Bing, they were all fucking horrible search engines.
Google is actually good for what Micro said, yeah, like to catch like phishing sites. Like you just copy paste the URL in Google, and if it's like cached in Google, then you can just click like the cached version,
Yeah.
and then you get like a safer way of visiting it.
And I'm gonna do a flashback for you guys. Remember when dial-up was out, and you would get the pop-ups, and you would go to the search engines, and every now and then you'd catch a website that had a pop-up on it. You go click get rid of the pop-up, and you got bombed with pop-ups. It's
Oh,
a good way to get some malware installed. Yeah, man,
well,
lock your screen up.
Yeah, that would happen on a lot of porn sites back in the day.
Game sites too, because was it Shockwave? There's a little game machine there called a Shock Machine where you could steal the games, so that way
Does
power
anybody,
goes out.
is ActionScript even a thing anymore?
What's that?
ActionScript.
Shockwave?
Yeah,
ActionScript?
the back end programming language. I remember studying it in school. And
Ever since everything went to WAP, the WAP or WAP2 and HTML5, Java and all that got pushed out the window.
well, it's like
it's too much
ActionScript
control.
is like a dead language, right? I don't see
Yeah, it's
anybody using it.
too much control for us and a normal user to learn to use to get over on companies. They had to get it out, get it going.
Okay, so people ask us to talk about this solar observatory being raided by FBI. Did you guys read about it?
No, I didn't
No.
hear about this. Please tell me. Please inform me.
Yeah, okay, so this solar observatory, let me see where it was. Well, it was in Sacramento, at Sacramento Peak. It was raided, and no one knew why it was raided, right? They thought like aliens maybe, or something else weird. But it turns out it was like about, or they claimed it was about that the Wi-Fi was being used to download child pornography.
Oh, that's so bullshit. You know that they saw something.
There was this FBI document, and they said they identified a suspect as a janitor, and he was like under the contract to like clean the facility, and his laptop was found to have been used, to connect to the wireless and to download like child porn. The
Crazy.
janitor did it. They say. So yeah, the was like a Black Hawk helicopter, and like special forces raided the solar observatory.
Over child porn and a janitor? Holy
Weird, right?
Sure. It's always the janitor. It's always the lowest guy on the pole, right?
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah, that
guys
sounds
that are
like the
working
story
there.
sounds made up, you know? It sounds like, it's like,
Yeah, my bullshit detector's going off pretty hard on that
yeah.
one.
That's when they try to
So
get
what would-
that's when they try to put Matt to heart, with like all that porn, because he actually had proof that the fucking CIA was behind the anthrax letters. Yeah, and they went after him, and they said he had child porn.
Yeah. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of computers over at just the FBI have it on it, but that's okay. We can't seem
It's a
to do
sting
anything about
operation.
that.
It's okay if it's a sting operation, right? Even though it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, right?
Yeah, it's not our people doing it. Well, yeah, it's a way for them to try to look like the good guys with a story like that, because that's a bullshit story. That's what it is. It's something they want you to change. It makes them look like the good guys when they're doing it 10 times over back at the office. So
Watch,
whatever.
they were gonna release some like UFO like that they saw by the sun or something, and
Yeah.
or some
It's just
foreign
all a
object.
diversion. It's all a shit show. It's all a big joke. Yeah. Instead of chasing real criminals like our politicians, they're doing stuff like that. We got SWAT teams for that. You notice one janitor at an observatory. Oh fuck, we can peel off all kinds of guys. Chopper, SWAT team for that. No problem.
They do the same thing for electronics crimes for hackers. They get in SWAT teams. Like you're fucking literally arguing with a stoner and a laptop, or some guy who's sniffing cocaine, like on a laptop, hacking shit, and bring in a SWAT team for that. Really?
Yeah.
Well, for
So
everything.
there is a little hint that something is not right, and that is that the local sheriff kind of like raged at them for the confused and overly secret way the incident was handled by the FBI. He doesn't really understand it, why they did it like that, or what they actually did.
Yeah, it seems like more was going on than fucking kiddie porn.
They call it
This is
bizarre.
all. Well, this is all like what was it? What did they call it? The Jade Helm. This is all about terrorizing the public. It's county over here, Fort Lauderdale over there. Just keep everybody guessing. Keep these things happening so that you're like, oh man, you keep thinking that's like when's it going to be our turn? When are these guys going to come pound on us?
Watch, it was a cover story. The janitor really hacked the fucking observatory and found something and was going to release it. And then they just said it was kiddie porn.
Yeah, I think in the other article they had like a wrong picture, because it is actually the National Solar Observatory in New Mexico, United States.
Solar
Anyone wants to know.
observatory. But I thought that the only...
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just okay. So let's
What?
follow this story. Let's follow the story. Something's going on out in the middle of the New Mexico desert that we have to get really, really wound up about, because something serious is going on out there.
A lot
There's
of
practically nobody there. There's
a lot
only
of
one
weird shit
janitor that
goes
comes in. He
yeah.
cleans once a week. So we need to get involved here, because this is serious, man.
Yeah, and also did that they brought out a weird message because like the Aura DC, that is like their crew, and they said like our management org is addressing a security issue at Sunspot and has temporarily vacated the facility as a precaution. So everyone was removed from the facility.
The
I-
fuck?
So it was targeted sunspots by the sun. Well, that's very serious. I mean, we need to get on top of that one.
Somebody was trying to light their bowl from a solar flare, or what it was. They were trying to calculate this.
Real bro, this is a solar bowl.
No, let's face it. I mean, if there is some alien doing that to us from the sun, are we really going to be able to do anything about that? No, it's like,
No,
really?
No, not
Yeah,
even-
what,
No.
well, what are you going to do, NASA? What are you going to do for us? You know, where's the Space Force? Call them up, Tyler. Where's the
Force?
Space Force? We need to get them on top of this one. This is serious.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird story for sure.
Gotta contact the Andromedans to help us. The Klingons.
Yeah, man, this is just red level bullshit indicator, man. It's just fully pegged. You know, it's, sorry,
Sorry,
guys.
more will leak about it. We'll leak about it.
I remember, it seems like more and more, remember like last year we had a show about that where we were talking about UFOs. That the government, an ex-high-ranking government employee who used to work at the Pentagon, had released videos. Remember the UFOs flying from the F-30 that was recorded in the infrared camera from the F-35 that was flying 35,000 feet up. The unidentified flying object that was literally rotating on its axis and zipping around. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want to talk about that too much. I'm surprised they even brought it up. But every now and then you get a little leak like that. Something might be going on. Or...
This
But what are
guy's
they-
on a suicide.
What are they going to do it, man?
I'm not sure why they're so scared. These people. I mean,
Well, because they're
even
scared.
scientists, they like we're going to be having like proof of like alien life like within like 5 or 10 years. I mean, why would they be so secretive about it? I mean, everyone is overwhelmed with movies about it, documentaries. I mean, it's not going to be special to society. I mean, we already
You're
know
right.
there is alien life, and
All because the governments fear that once we learn that we're not, that our resources aren't limited, and that we can trade with this alien race to lose the control over the people.
That's
suddenly
right.
the
That's-
gold is worthless or something, and
Yeah.
the diamonds
That's,
also.
that's what it's always been about. You looked at the church. Anytime there was something scientific, they felt like they had, and they were always wrong. But it was going to be this, like the whole sun-centered thing. It's like, why was that such a big deal? Anybody with the brain had already kind of figured that out anyway. Oh, but no, took 100 years or so. Bunch of denials by the church as if they were the authority on it. It's just, but when you're dealing with an authoritarian complex, this is what you have to deal with. This is how these people think. They're sick.
Yeah, and
They
it's
really
also they want to have like the authority over people, and that's why they are also obsessed with saying like they are like the highest authority, right? And if you like have like alien alive or something, or like
Or they
some
have the
proof-
technology to go to other planets. It's like, we don't have to listen to you anymore. We can kind of
No,
do what
it's-
we want.
Yeah. So they would have to, if you're in that kind of psychopathic mind, you would have to try to hide something like that. That's a direct counter to your authority. So we
Yeah.
can't have that.
It's like a cult mentality.
They're whack jobs, man. Collectively, these governments, after generations of refining the system and getting more and more schmucks in there who are psychos, this is what you get.
Yeah, well, we're living in like the internet age, and you can you're talking about billions and billions of planets, like trillions of different planets in the universe, and there's nothing like the question if there is alien life. There's just the only question is, can we reach them or can they reach us? That's like literally the only question there is. Like,
How's everyone going to react to that? I mean, you and me and myself and Tyler and Preston may, okay, we're cool about this. So you're going to have these, some of these rednecks and hillbillies with shotguns talking about, I'm going to shoot it if it moves wrong. Some people are going to be cool about it, and you're going to have those really wrapping themselves up in tinfoil.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
chances are those guys are going to fuck it up for everybody, including your government. I mean, let's be real. They're going to start shooting because they're going to get scared, and then it's all going to go bad when they turn it on us. And how long could it last? You know,
yeah, but imagine alien life being helpful. I mean, they would have like a cure for all diseases, and they would have like ways to go to other planets and stuff. What if they would share it with us? I mean, shouldn't we like be like super interested in like, actually getting contact with these aliens?
They're just coming to farm us for food.
that's more likely. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Resources.
If you were a superior race, I don't know. Maybe you would. Maybe you'd say you're going to look down on us for sure because we're so pathetic. But would you just turn us into cattle? I don't know.
I don't think I would taste good as haggis.
I'm not sure. Like maybe they're like empathic. They also have like I don't know. Maybe they're not like that. I mean, it depends also like what kind of government they have. And maybe they have like Greenpeace and stuff too there, like protect the environment or whatever.
More than likely, you're dealing with a recon or some kind of military force. You know, so I mean, I don't think it's going to turn out good, but. Especially for our leaders, and I'm okay with that as long as we get better leaders. I don't care who they are. I'm tired of the ones we got. This is crazy.
It's likely we want robots. Like they will send robots, right? I mean that's better for their health. It's not healthy to be in space as a creature.
Not long term, no.
It sounds like a artificial intelligence. I mean.
Here's the best thing, and you'll love this. Guess who's the global planetary leader who would go talk for the planet now? Is Donald Trump.
Yeah, of
Oh
course.
no,
it's the American. Yeah, I mean, so you're in good hands. I mean,
Oh my god.
he'll work out some kind of deal.
Jesus Christ.
Let me see your ID.
Well,
I've read
Obama,
Gotta build a wall to keep out them aliens.
I've read a scientist saying something else. A scientist said like the aliens will like grade our quality of communication, and it seems like whales got like a better form of communication than humans. So likely they will see the whales as the most intelligent, and they will talk to the whales. That's what one scientist said. Because their communication system seems to be so perfect. Yeah.
Well, they do that just to piss us off.
Yeah, they will just talk to the whales, dolphins.
Yeah, we're not talking to you guys. We're done with you. Your new supreme leader is this whale or this dog over here. That's the new deal.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave one guy because he's got the Astro Blaster. He can just turn it to whatever and fuck everybody up if they get out of line. So they only need one guy. He's gonna. And he'll back up that dog or that whale, whatever they come up with. Yeah, it's going to be great, man.
That one guy will be seen like as the messiah in like all religions.
Well, yeah. What if the guy that steps off that UFO looks like a dog or a cat? What are you going to do?
So we're fucked.
or a chicken. It's like, wait a minute, you did what to the chickens that are here on? Oh, fuck you. No, man, that ain't. You're in big trouble. You better hope he doesn't look like a cow or a chicken or a pig. They're gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, I imagine they'd be pretty mad.
These are some serious questions for sure.
I mean, it sounds goofy, but I mean, think about it.
Arachnids or
I'm
insects.
I'm strange enough to come up with a thought like that, but I mean, not too many others.
Well, do you guys think this would revolve around a black Saturn cube, the cube of Saturn? You guys have read up on that?
No, I haven't. What's going on?
No, it's supposedly people worship a cube. You see it on all these movies. There's supposed to be one in Saudi Arabia, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's Mecca. Yeah.
Oh, Mecca.
Yeah.
The Kaaba.
These black boxes. You mean?
Yeah.
They're like in the middle of some circle. There's some black box, and they're all worshipping it.
That's
Yeah, we have a few here in the U.S. like front of these office buildings, these great
Yeah.
big high towers.
Well,
Yeah.
my understanding, black cubes go back to worship of El, and which is Saturn worship. That's where that comes from way back, which is all weird, but whatever, you know. These Illuminati guys, they got plenty of time, man. They got these cushy executive jobs. They make all kinds of money for not doing jack shit, and they got time to put up a black cube in front of their building like that, you know.
Yeah, whatever is used. These different civilizations, they all worship these different strange idols and strange things. I mean, I don't think like a real alien life would care anything about that. Like, it's just a
Yeah.
weird black cube. I mean,
They're gonna laugh at all these Illuminati guys. Like it's like, oh yeah, that was your secret information. That was your stick and carrot that you fooled all these people with, and all your Illuminati bullshit. You know, it's like whatever.
you're retarded enough to like depopulate all your people and like destroy all the common knowledge, like collective knowledge of millions of people. Like when you're like retarded.
Yeah, well,
That's just
the
retarded.
whole point of the population of the world is to keep ensure that the human race will survive. You know, not to decrease the population. You know.
You can fit the entire population if you like build like huge buildings. You can fit the entire population of the world in a state like Texas. So it's
For real?
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
overpopulated at all. I mean, I've read some articles about it. Like it is not overpopulated. It's like
Well, it's like how many humans really need to be on the Earth? If you could do it when there was 1 billion people, why do you need 7? What is the whole point of the numbers? I mean, there's enough humans to assure that cover the globe enough to assure that you won't be killed off, more than likely. Okay, so why do you need so many more? What's the point?
yeah, I would say it's
just
just
Burn up
destruction of
resources?
knowledge,
I mean,
and
yeah,
destruction of genetics and of knowledge. Like you're destroying like potentially millions of new Einsteins, and yeah. Just,
well, where are they? Where are these Einsteins?
no, but that's what I
Well-
also feel about this poverty in Africa and stuff. You're keeping all these children who will never have like a good education and stuff. But while they could be the next Einstein, right?
Well, that's
Scared
true.
of Einstein.
But we don't push Einstein's ahead. I mean, this is a socialist society. It's all about bringing. But we can't have people excel, so you have to bring everybody and make them the same, right? You bring up the lower, you bring down the upper, and we're all kind of the same. So Einsteins don't have a chance in this system. That's the problem. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, all these diseases could be cured, I think, long ago.
So I've always
you
said
wouldn't-
that the problem, modern, genetics is the future of modern medicine.
Well, I do believe that. Well, I think there's 2 paths. They will get the true genetic solutions. You'll see these guys start to live to 125, 150, and our lifespans are going to drop to about 50 or 60 for the citizen/slave class. You'll get the other side of that, Jenny. Instead of helping you, we're going to hurt you. You're already seeing it.
Yeah. What is this? What is this shit with U.S. military is a military intervention? Talking about that last year.
Yeah, well, that is the long-term plan because of the heavy oil deposits down there. We've talked about this before, how it really is all about oil, even when it's not about oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so what is the first thing you do? You collapse the economy. This is the prelude
Well, they stole
for the soldiers coming in later. Is we trash the economy.
Venezuela did steal our Chevy plant. They called it. It was, I don't know, the whatever term they made up for it.
They nationalized them.
Yeah,
I think they went
nationalized it. There you
some
go.
oil. Yeah, there's some oil operations.
They took our Chevy plant.
Yeah. Well, there's a remedy for that. Hey, pay up or we attack you. That's one option. But we are go. But the overall plan is we're going to attack you anyway because we are going to control your oil 20, 30 years down the line, guaranteed. And this is the setup for it. We're come up with it. You need an excuse.
Everybody's trying to kill what's his name down there. They tried to blow him up with a drone a couple weeks ago. The president of Venezuela, even his own, even part of his own military went rogue and tried to kill him.
Well, they should. You got a collapsed. Why let the government and some rich elites trash your country? Why do that?
Well,
at some point you got
thought
to.
He was going to change Venezuela, and then more and more they realized that he was just like the other guy before him. And he was just fucking up the country, and then they stole everything.
Yeah. They know how to. It seems, for some reason, it seems very easy for banks to go into a Central American or a South American country and bribe them with huge loans that they can't pay back. They're not even smart enough to realize it's like, hey, wait a minute, we can't even manage the interest on that debt, a year from now. But they'll do it. And so it's just like, they make it too easy. It's just like, why don't you just tell them no? It's like, hey, you know what? Every time you guys come here, you fuck us. We're tired of it. Go away. But you offer them a little cash on the side, and they're more than willing to sacrifice their country and their people to get rich. Because that's what's going on.
Yeah,
that's the kind of shit that's going on down there.
That's the exact scam they're pulling. Yeah, they're giving them money, and they have to pay interest on paying it back, and then they will devaluate their currency by spraying to the stock market that the country is in debt. And they're going to say the country is in debt, so the currency it becomes worth less, and that it will be harder and harder for them to repay that stuff. And that is like the typical elite scam they're pulling.
And it's always overdone. It's like, okay, well, hey, we're a little in debt. Well, why does it devalue to 1/100th of what it was? Why isn't it just 20 or 30%? We're just a little bit over here, but oh no, we just trash it. It's all part of the same scheme. It's just a reason to trash the country and steal money from the public. Mm-hmm. Their banks are in on it. Their leaders are in on it. So they should be attacking their leaders. They're pieces of shit. That's why we should be attacking our leaders. Yeah. They're pieces of shit too.
Remember, you can go to jail for saying stuff like that now.
Can I really?
Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm just going to keep saying it, because it's the truth. It's like, you're going to censor me or whatever, okay. But the truth is the truth, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, their banks are doing it because they can borrow this money and then they give it out to others that borrow it from them at like a few percentages higher. So they just forward the money, right? And they profit on these extra percentages in interest.
Yeah, it's like, but why do you blame the bank? You really should blame the people who run the government. They're the ones who did this. If the banks, it's like, hey, if we give these guys a loan they can't pay back, they're the stupid ones, right? That's not necessarily on us. They can't manage their money and their resources. Oh well.
The government's got.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really
the banks.
Yeah, if you're
the government's by the balls.
Yeah, if you're really that pathetic and that stupid and can't figure out math that you'll let that happen, then why shouldn't we do that to you? That's the mindset. And they just keep doing it. And you keep getting more and more pathetic Greeks and Venezuelans and all these countries that just can't,
I
for
heard
whatever reason, 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4.
I heard their money
You
is
know,
their money in Venezuela is so devalued, like 300,000 bolivars is like can't even buy you a steak. 300,000 of their currency.
yeah.
It's turning into Zimbabwe currency, where like you need like $100 trillion to ZWE or Zimbabwe dollars to buy like a bottle of water. And that's how it is in Venezuela.
Yeah, but that's the scam these globalists are pulling. That's the scam they're
That's-
doing. They're,
That's market manipulation. There's no
Yeah.
reason for the money to actually crash that far, or have to. That's not. You're only slightly out of line. I mean, you're bankrupt. Okay, I mean, you're bankrupt, but it's nothing that you can't repackage and fix. But that's not the plan. The plan was to get you. You signed up to a contract where if you fuck this up, the banks get to come in here and take things for 10 cents on the dollar and all that. So that's on your leaders. See, they're the ones that signed that contract to let them do that. Those are the true pieces of shit. They're all pieces of shit, but the bigger pieces of shit are your countrymen at the top, your leaders who did that to you. They're the bad guys.
yeah, and you got a currency market and a financial system, but you also got a real economy, right? You got stores, you got farmers. They're all working on a real economy. I mean, people are still going to buy food, and still they're going to build this real economy. That's behind the scenes. So you can change this entire monetary system, but you have to act. Then you have to stop that. I mean, you can replace your currency, and you can say like, "Oh, we're not paying anything back. We're nationalizing everything. We're creating a new currency for our country, and can fuck off."
Well, that's what they did in Zimbabwe. They just they use what's called Go Cash, and it's just basically they send money through text messages, and it's backed up by U.S. dollars because their money's worthless.
Yeah.
Well, it's a system. You have to look at it. It's not a government. It's more a system of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, these the American army and others are going to invade your country. So get going fast, nationalize everything, and reclaim your country now before it's too late. Actually,
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah, but see, in it,
What did you do?
I was just saying our country's screwed up. Sorry about that.
if the U.S. isn't used, they will use another army to do it. These globalists, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's why they're
Somebody's
building
army.
up China. That's their plan B, or whenever they get China going up big enough, they'll be plan A. We'll be plan B. But
Yeah, of course they will use a Chinese army, or they will use the Russian army. I mean, Russia got enough resources to have this army going for a while. So
Yeah, he signed it all over to them. So now they got the money. They're in charge.
yeah,
Because your elected officials here in this country are not going to stand up for you. Just like this censorship, they're not going to stand up for you. All you right wingers are going to get censored, just like AJ and all the rest. Do you see anybody standing up? Nope. So there you go. One more example of how this government does not stand up for your rights. They're not going to do it.
Oh,
you
Well,
know
that's
what
how you
they
get
have to-
Well, it's like the police. See, the police have, they've gotten these judgments now through the courts that they're not actually legally obligated to protect you. You have a police force, but now they're not legally obligated to protect. So what the hell is that?
no, they don't.
like,
They
well,
don't
yeah.
protect you. They just enforce the laws. They're
so
defenders of the empire. Seriously.
so we can convolute, whatever you need, a Black's Law dictionary. We all play all these word tricks, but yeah, you're just corrupting everything. This system corrupts everything with this mindset and then this logic. People are going along with it. They're not standing up. They're not going to do anything because they're pathetic, just like their government. They're cowards. They're not going to stand up and do anything about it. I see that now. It's just becoming obvious for some reason. That's why it's so pathetic. So really, no matter what country you look at, I mean, I can badmouth USA all day. I can pick a European country. It's really any Western country you can pick and start pointing at them for all the stupid things they're doing. So can't even Netherlands can't even bring up a complaint against the U.S. I mean,
No, not even about.
Damn.
Oh, okay. Well,
Isn't
back.
there war crimes?
That's-
Isn't there war crimes against George Bush in the Netherlands?
Yeah,
I believe there is. Yeah, there's countries these people cannot fly to. They don't tell you that because they're perfect. They're your gods. They're the elites, and they don't tell you like, oh yeah, Kissinger can't go here. He can't. Probably a list of about 10 countries he can't go to because there actually are cases against him that have been won. So. But
yeah, like
I don't care.
a Yugoslavic president like Milosevic, he's in jail in here. But yeah, for the United States president, there's like an exception. Yeah. Can't
That's
be
the
here.
difference. Well, that's why even banana republics I have to have more respect for than our government because they actually go after their presidents and elected officials pretty often, compared to how we do. I mean, we don't go after any of them anymore, but they're going after them in Brazil. You see, at least there's the impression that something might be going on. They're actually going after them and, there might actually be something going on here. It's just a shit show, man. I mean, it's just all the big cover up. They're not going after anybody for anything. He had that whole debacle 10 years ago, all stealing all this money. I mean, it was a fraud to start with. Did anybody get in trouble?
Nope.
That was the first time in a financial crisis that nobody got in trouble. Eric Holder is pure genius. Nobody got in trouble, man. So.
No, it's that taxpayer money that saved the banks, literally.
Yeah, but yeah, Goldman Sachs and crew literally said that, hey, we need $1 trillion. If you don't give us $1 trillion, the economy will crash on itself. But it's all our fault. But we'll fix it. Okay.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah, these numbers. It's like, oh, Bear Stearns is going to go under. Well, so what? Let the motherfuckers go under. What's that? How's that going to hurt Main Street? What does the cake baker care about Bear Stearns? So what? Why was it so necessary? Oh, why was that the keystone? And that was the whole domino. That was the first domino that fell in this, this whole conspiracy theory of, how all this money got lost. It's all fake. None of that actually occurred.
Yeah, the only thing that could have occurred if these big financials would have gone down is like they have to sell off their assets, right? The houses they own and stuff, and so temporary you would have like a huge decrease in value of the buildings, and so a lot of people would be shocked because their house is worth nothing. But then again, after a few years, everyone gets cheap housing. So
well, only their houses. See, not your house that you live in. Your house wouldn't go down. Their house would go down because they're bankrupt. That's their problem. They're the ones going through bankruptcy court, not the country.
Yeah, I know. As long as you live in a house, it's your house. And
see, that's why this isn't capitalism. That's crony capitalism. That's fascism. That's a lot of other things, but that's not a free market. That is not free enterprise. That is crony capitalism at its best.
Yeah, it is the illusion of capitalism. At the top, it's not capitalism anymore. No.
Nope.
It's an oligarchy or something.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, it's just gotten old. Once you see it for what it is, it just really gets old.
It gets annoying if you really think about it too much. Then you think like, yeah,
it's depressing.
Yeah.
So you just have to move on. Say, well, fuck it, do whatever they want. But
it's also depressing to see all these people still believing that it's not like that. Like, You feel bad for these people too. Like they're believing in this left and right wing war against each other, and they're like fighting each other on the street, and these people at the top are just literally laughing. I mean,
Well, they
Yep.
don't. Yeah, they don't realize that you're getting fucked over.
yeah, people are laughing. Like it's just like in the past in India long ago with these different castes systems. Like
It still goes on, yeah, over there. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just like that. They're just fighting each other, and the elite stays out of reach. It's like they're in the FIP in the FIP box watching the play. It's,
You can't talk to these people though. So you can't. That's the problem I run into. Is you can't tell them. You can't show them a news story or talk about what's going on, and they just for whatever reason they don't see that as being a problem. They don't see it as being serious. You can't put these things together. You can't have basically you can't have an intelligent conversation with an American because their IQ is too low. They don't use critical thinking anymore. It's not taught in school. You know, not that you couldn't come up with it for yourself, but people just, man, I mean, it's just the thought processes that are going on are so screwed up at all levels. It's just everywhere. It's just like, how do you react with a bunch of dumbasses? How are you supposed to get ahead in a country full of dumbasses and cowards?
yeah,
And
it's
I'm sorry the
difficult.
way that sounds, but you know, it's like, hey man, it's not. Look, it's not fair to smarter people that are trying to do more to have to put up with all this crap. Okay, because that's what it is.
Should have grown up in the 90s.
Jeez, man.
For real.
Yeah, but smart people are part of like a calculation in their plan, right? It's like just like a very small percentage of people were smart enough to understand these systems, but they're part of the plan. Like they're already it's already calculated how many people are going to resist against this, yeah, the the cattle that votes and that chooses their own masters. It's like a huge crowd that you can almost not influence it. You have to all the media is in control of these people, so yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible that I mean, like, you know, how many still listen to, you know, mainstream news? You know, it's just they don't see it for. Can't you pop out of your own bubble and see what they're doing? You know, doesn't anything they tell you, the fact that it's so scrambled up, you know, isn't that a red flag in your mind somewhere? You know, apparently not. You know, like there's that 15-20% out there. You can literally tell them anything. You can bullshit most of the people all of the time. That is the problem with America.
Yeah.
Probably a planet with problem with most places, not just here, but I see it here. It's just like there's a huge majority of people that will literally believe bullshit all of the time. It just blows me away. They don't question any of it. It's like, well, wait a minute, don't you question this or question that, or doesn't this sound wrong? You know, can't you see this? You know, or do you really believe that, you know, like Building 7, you know, it just, you know, it didn't get hit by anything, but it just fell on its own. You know, just
It just,
that's the official
it just
story.
wanted
It
to
just,
go down on its own, you know.
it was time. You know, it's,
It was nap time.
so you know, so if you can get away with that, I mean, you can start all kinds of wars. You know, make it up. And then if we have any countries that get out of line, like the Netherlands, well, we'll just attack you, right? I mean, that's
Well, the
'cause that's what
FBI
the
did
good-
say back in the 70s that if it wasn't happening, they will make it happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went around then, but yeah, was around Nixon era.
well, they've been doing that a long time. That's been a tactic of any government or empire for a long time. It's just if you have to stage an event to attack somebody to get what you want.
Oh, like the Gulf of
That's-
Tonkin?
Yeah. Well, the Romans had another way of doing it. They would send an ambassador out, and he would tell you, "We don't care." You know, he'd have a cloth with him or a sword. We don't care which one you choose. It's up to you, but we don't care. We'll go to war, or we can be your friend. You know, that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah.
We impose ourselves on some place, and if you don't, you know, we're gonna give you the same kind of option. You know, here's the deal: if you like it or not, it doesn't matter. But we're coming.
Does anybody ever know why the fuck we even went to Vietnam? I mean, like, besides that, I mean, the real fucking reason wasn't to stop the spread of communism. It wasn't the gathering of resources. I'll tell you that.
It's never-ending war. It's war is a racket. You know, that was General Smedley Butler way back in the 20s and 30s telling you that. You know, the military-industrial complex was not a new idea by Eisenhower. It was already in effect by the time that guy was telling you.
Well, I don't
way
think,
back
I don't
when.
think we should have been really worried about a bunch of guys with AK-47s in the jungle. You know, what's so scary about that?
What was it? Yeah, what were you there? What were we there to do? Was there a plan? I don't think there was.
I mean,
We're gonna get involved
my friend's dad was there, and he would tell me that the rules of engagement were kind of fucked up. Like, you couldn't like blow up ports and entryways in which the weapons and resources were coming in. You couldn't shoot. You couldn't shoot. You couldn't shoot somebody unless they were identified as a VC, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just like it was not.
So there was no plan to win.
Yes, there was no plan,
reason.
yeah.
No, there was no reason. What was the reason? Oh, the French are pulling out, so we have to go in. Why? Well, because the Chinese might. Well, okay. What are you going to do about it? The Chinese decide to come in. Really, what are you going to do about it? Nuke them? Is that your solution for it? We're just going to nuke them. Okay. And you weren't serious about stopping communism anyway, because as it comes out, you were actually working with them, for them, helping them the whole time. So that really wasn't the reason. So what was the reason? Never-ending conflict? Seems like it. We've been at war. Yeah, we've only, the U.S. has only been at peace, like 15 or 20 years out of our whole history. We don't have a really good track record of being peaceful. Or constantly at war. Now you got the longest war is Afghanistan. It's like, what are you doing there? What's the point? You spend all this money for what?
There is this old billionaire. I think that was like John D. Rockefeller. He owned like 300 billion, and he once said, "You have to buy your resources when the blood is flowing through the streets. Then you have to buy." So, what that means is like they need the chaos for resources and products to be cheap. So if you have like Iraq in chaos, the oil will be cheap. Same as for Afghanistan, you need to like constant chaos, because as soon as there's no more chaos, it becomes more expensive to buy.
But that didn't really happen this time. Because chaos in the region equals higher oil prices usually, because of the tensions. Here's the other thing: you hear guys like that Rockefeller say things like that, but at the same time, they're not the ones paying for the armies and all. They get to swoop in and get all the contracts and everything. From their perspective, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. But you guys aren't footing the bill or doing any of this. You're getting other people. You're tricking other people in this scumbag government to go follow along with this plan that doesn't do the nation any good, because you're spending more money than there is in oil in the ground. How is that ever going to make economic sense for the country? It's not. And that's the whole problem. All these genius planners and all this is like, you missed one of the big equations in your war planning, is that war needs to be swift and complete, and you get it over with quick so it doesn't cost you too much money. But oh no, not with you geniuses. You manage to drag it on so that these scumbags can make more money in the military industrial complex. That's why you suck. because you're not serious. A real war planner wouldn't plan like that.
Hey, people in the chat are enjoying your voice so much. They say, "Is Preston can read a dictionary for us?"
A dictionary.
That is
Anyone
enjoyable. Yeah.
So if Micro nods off, I have to come in, and then when I nod off, Tyler jumps in.
I'm always
Keep it.
That's when you know you're at teachers, when everyone starts falling asleep.
Maybe,
well, the
maybe
prep
I'm a
for
little.
topics takes like forever, like fuck.
Maybe I'm too monotone, and I'm putting Micro to sleep. That could be possible.
No, I'm sleep deprived and hungry. I'm behind enemy lines.
No electricity.
No, I got some of that.
Swamped out. You're probably still swamped
150-foot drop cord, but it worked.
That's some ghetto economics there, or some ghetto ingenuity.
Bro, how do you think that all got here to start with? I'm tapped in over there, over across my street here into the Wi-Fi panel, broadband receptor.
Is there?
No, you got like the perfect radio voice, Preston. I used to. I don't know. Did you ever listen to Bill Cooper, Hour of the Time broadcast long ago?
Oh yeah, I did. I wasn't so much into him at the time, but yeah, later on I did. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, he was the Alex Jones before Alex Jones. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, he did the real stuff. I mean,
Bill Cooper, William Cooper.
William Cooper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your voice sometimes reminds me a bit of William Cooper's voice.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah, I always
Yes,
listen to
yeah.
Hour of the Time stuff. I mean, he was actually the guy who like predicted 9/11 and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he called it.
Yeah, he even said Osama bin Laden would be blamed. And
Yeah, he was calling him out big during Waco and Oklahoma City because he saw all that back then. You know, he was one of the few at that time that was really on top of that.
yeah, he was shot on November the 5th, by the way, in 2001.
Oh, was that the day? Wow.
Yeah, 5th of November. It's bizarre.
Yeah, he got sideways with the IRS. That's what happens when you don't pay your taxes, or you think you're a free man.
Yeah.
You actually start playing the game and winning in court with the IRS, they just get rid of you. Because see, they can't. There is no law for the IRS to do what they do. That's another one of the big frauds here in the U.S. Is how that whole thing was passed. But you can't bring that up in court. You're going to lose. You can't. I remember going that other people going down that road with them years ago, and so they used to sell these tape cassettes, VHS tape cassettes where you could, here's how you fought them all the way. It was like a 10-volume set. What they didn't give you was the last videotape, which was, you know what, this is all going to work right up to this point, and then the SWAT team shows up. They didn't tell you that part of it, but they told you all the legal remedies and everything that you were supposed to do. And do correctly, in the courts to actually defend against it, but it always ends up with a SWAT team at the end. That's where the flow chart leads to. All arrows lead to that at the end. He was. That's what they finally came after him for.
Tyler, what?
What's topics?
Yeah, you're.
Sorry.
Let
Alright,
me go look.
Wait. So Space Force, they came up with a bill. How much is it going to cost? $13 billion. But they still don't know what exactly they're going to do. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, the Air Force is like, the Air Force was talking to the heads of the Pentagon. Like, what is this Space Force going to do? And literally the Air Force is like, we're already doing that.
That's true. Huh? They're already up there.
Yeah. So
And I mean, 18 billion. What you
13
can't do much
billion.
with that.
13
Yeah, that's
billion
not
was
much
the
money,
budget.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that's not very much. What are you going to do with that? You can't fire that many people off into space for that kind of money.
No, we don't even have spaceships, bro. I mean, we got like fucking we do, but like got space capsules and rockets with rocket technology. We don't have any warp engines or anti-gravity
Rockets.
with shields, light speed technology. Like what the fuck? Like seriously, like I think Donald Trump and his like little council were like doing a bunch of acid, and they're like, dude, what about aliens? Aliens can come and invade us, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we need a space force, yeah, something like, you know what I mean? Like it's out there in left field. It's like the
You have to come up with something new, but what is there? Space for? But you're kind of jumping the shark on that one by about 4 or 5 centuries, probably. But you're still jumping the shark.
Way back at 4 centuries ago, Space Force was invented, but there wasn't a spaceship yet or a force until
Or the
200
technology,
years later.
but hey, skip the facts. We'll work on that. It's,
Is there so when you go to the recruiter's office, there's Army, Navy, Marines, National Guard, and Space Force, and then you join the Space Force. Like, what does your basic training look like?
oh well. Here's how you go in. Now you're gonna get you'll get a chuckle out of this, because what are you? You're a space cadet, right?
Oh, the ranks.
What else could you be?
Yeah, you instead of a private, you're a cadet. Yeah,
Yeah.
space cadet.
You're a friggin' space cadet. Yeah.
I always
Which
thought
has all kinds of
I always
connotations.
thought that like they like in a lot of sci-fi movies they use the Navy is considered in a lot of the Navy USS or the yeah, it would be like they consider ships like in a lot of sci-fi movies naval. But
Yeah, because you're calling it a ship, right?
Yeah, ship,
you have
yeah.
to see them.
Well, and they also, the other reason they do that is because they love to put you under maritime admiralty
yeah.
law, and then that covers it, which is basically we can do whatever the hell we want. The captain's in charge, and whatever he does, it's okay.
So space will be like international waters.
No, that's when we go to Mars or we have a colony. I think Space Force is around so that like when we do start colonizing other planets, which will probably happen in the next 70 years. So if you revolt, Space Force will be there. Be like, nope. You're part of the United Federation of Planets. You guys got to listen to your leaders.
Yeah. Or else we're going to send our space force up there, and
You have 1 year.
we'll have to. Yeah, we have to put down the Mars revolt. Just make it up.
I think I saw this in a Schwarzenegger movie.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's a movie somewhere that sounds very similar to this, because that's the model for the whole thing. It will come to be.
Well, I mean,
Sure.
the way that space is going right now, I mean, like I do see the colonization of something in the next 70 years.
Well, Elon Musk is going to colonize Mars, right? So then Trump wants to go there too with his army, of course, already waiting for him.
Yeah.
And then when Elon Musk gets there, like building cities and stuff, and then Trump will have his military bases there, ready to call the shots.
Let's see. Normally, we're colonizing, right? So what do we normally do? We send our ships out. We let them get a toehold on some, and then the troops come in. You have to establish yourself first as some kind of complex or colony or whatever. But the troops, they're there to keep you in line. Do you just think you're going to be able to travel anywhere you want to go in the galaxy or in this universe and get to do what you want? Do you get to do that here?
No.
Yeah. So what makes you think they're going to allow you to do that out in the wide open space? These people are cuckoo.
Honestly, I think like the military is already there in these places. It's weird to like think this like it's like conspiracy minded maybe, but the budget is so high and they already got access to all this company information. I mean, they're wiretapping everything, so they already got all the details, access to the patents, and they got the money like 1,000 times the budget company like Tesla has. So SpaceX. So it's very possible they already have stuff on Mars and maybe a base on the moon or something.
They're like, hey guys, remember how we told you we're going 2025? We've been there for like 20 years.
Just
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know what you would think of it.
It just, we were just gonna bring it to you. We were gonna tell you.
Yeah.
We were gonna tell you.
We know we're supposed to get that guy on, like right, Tyler?
Oh,
Doctor
the UFO guy,
something.
Doctor, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Forgot his last name.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got that whole disclosure project thing. I mean, I don't know, and a serious thing. I don't know what's true of it, but it's got a lot of military people saying there's like alien contact and all these things.
Probably.
Yeah,
Well, you got that guy Dolan, wasn't he the British Secretary of what do you call him over there? Be like our Secretary of Defense. I mean, he's a real power. I mean, he's been doing that for like 10 or 15 years now. He went straight from the government to this UFO stuff. Like, wow.
Yeah, Mexico. They talk. Big UFO.
Yep.
They don't. Their own government doesn't deny it. Brazil is the same way.
I'll say, is it Ecuador?
Belgium here in Europe is also not denying it. Actually, they have some reports there. Some events they sent fighter jets after UFOs and stuff. It's in the open, but
I don't know, man.
yeah, it's difficult. I don't know it either, but I logic
I
would say the military is already there.
I
but-
believe because I've seen a lot, like, as far as like not like I've only seen like one thing personally, but like on the internet, I mean, there's just like there's a lot of fake shit, a lot of fake fucking videos, and then there are videos out there that are just like you see them and you're like, what the fuck, that's not good CG, and it was on a VHS.
Speaking of, it's about time to go out and make crop circles, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's crop circle stuff, yeah.
Let me see what else is.
In about 2 days, it's going to be rednecks and four-wheelers making crop circles.
Yeah, with UFO sightings, like I think like 99% is all like super fake, but you have to imagine like only one video actually has to be real. Like
Yeah. Well, there was.
pretty-
Remember, there was the Arizona, the one that was over the lights over Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
That was a
That's
big
of
one.
the
There was the big one in Philadelphia that was seen in 3 states. That was a couple years ago. There was the one that was over China, over the Beijing International. Am I having transmission problems? Oh, we're back up. No.
UFOs. Don't. It's coming and going as they please. We don't have any control over it. Don't talk about that.
Yeah. No, my wireless package just hiccuped.
And then we have Gary McKinnon, right? Hacking into NASA stuff, saying there are extraterrestrial
It's
officers.
debatable, like Gary, Gary, I think is the kind of guy who would have said anything, but maybe,
Well, one thing's for sure. Whether or not it's alien tech, they sure as hell don't want you seeing whatever it is that's going on at Area 51 and Hangar 18 up at Wright Patterson and all these other places, they don't want you even knowing what's going on
Well,
there.
there's underground bases in Nevada.
I mean,
You
so
can't go to those either.
yeah, it's like, so what the hell? It's like, wait a minute, even our public officials don't get
Or
to
sorry,
go
New
there and
Mexico.
see what's going on. I mean, who is running this show? Well, as we know, it's this whole deep state complex. That's your true government that runs 24/7, 365. The rest of these guys just come and go. They're part of the show, but yeah, when your own officials or they tell the president, like, well, we really don't want you going there. You got to, so who runs this show? Who came up with that?
Yeah, well, you can imagine whoever pays for it runs the show, and
Jeez.
I'm not
Pretty-
sure if that's the government that actually pays for it. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's to me, what that tells me is there's the military industrial complex. Well, it's just another word for a corporate structure. It's like the corporations really run this show. If there's things they don't want you to know about, not even your government can do anything about that. It's almost like this censorship. It's like, well, hey, Google and Twitter censor somebody. Well, they're not going to do anything for you. It's, oh, well, the corporations, well, that's what they do. It's all part of the same thinking. Just pay them off, and then even the president doesn't get to see what goes on. He's not really the guy in charge. It's something else going on here.
Yeah.
Didn't what's his name, Carter question these people, and then basically they told him that he wanted to go see Area 51 or whatever, and then when they asked what Carter was when Carter wanted to see what was going on as far as that was concerned, they told him that they'd have to kill him.
Yeah. Well, then,
are you kidding me? That's like the president.
yeah. So what should Carter have done? Well, of course he backed off because he's a coward. What should he have done? He should have had that guy fired right away. He should have done what he was supposed to, so that he could go do this. But why do you just go along with somebody telling you that shit? You're allegedly the head guy, and you have somebody saying that. Does that even sound right? And you go along with it? Really? I mean, I can't accept that. It's like, if you were any kind of man, if you had any kind of mojo about you at all, any kind of ethics or morality, you wouldn't do that and act that way.
There was something weird too.
You
Remember
couldn't.
There was a guy in the 90s who claimed he was an ex-worker for Area 51, and he claimed he worked on he claimed he worked on reverse engineering an alien ship, right? And he claimed that the drive systems were fueled by unantonium. Okay, this is in the 90s. Unantonium wasn't discovered until 2013. I don't understand that. Does that make any sense? I don't know.
Well, only, yeah, if they're hiding something, that makes sense, because then it would have been true, and now they're kind of half leaking the truth out to you.
Yeah, the only reason we found out that element was there is because of the particle accelerator, with the collider. We found out about unantonium. I don't know. More weird shit.
Well, it's just the way these people act that really bothers me. It's just like, I don't know how you be told that and not react.
Did we lose everybody?
What,
Is everybody sleeping?
or maybe we're hitting that time. But oh shit.
Like money injection of 40 billion, and I'm like thinking, like, why are you wasting 500 billion on the military a year? It's like, Are we even thinking about start with curing world hunger and
Yeah, I mean, spend all that money on infrastructure and bullet trains over here. I mean, for trillions of dollars, man, we could have some badass shit, man.
yeah.
First class, free, everything.
What are you
free
going to
for
tell
that
these
price.
aliens when you meet them? Like we're here to meet you, but we like half of our world is dying. Like, how would they look at you even? Like spend your money on your people first.
Well, I mean, there's some argument there. It's like if the universe being the way it is, wouldn't they have, through normal planetary development or reasons, wouldn't they be kind of like we are? You came from the same basic building blocks and would have the same, not necessarily the exact same DNA or anything, but you would come through a similar process of survival of the fittest and so forth that would have determined many things, way back, just from having to not in a way grow up in that environment, but genetically get established in that environment. It seemed like they would be very similar to us, more than likely.
Well, evolutionary, they would need a few fingers and they would need a thumb to make tools.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the only thing.
Yeah, they have to be, they have to be similar in some ways, so that you can create all the things that you need to do that. So the mindset and all is going to follow. What are the chances of meeting somebody that's benevolent and high IQ and not just one guy, but a civilization that's like that? Okay, it's hard enough to find one guy.
Yeah, and then there's the question: what kind of government would they have?
Or if they have a government.
Yeah.
If they have.
Yeah, I just if they're really that far ahead, I don't think they're going to be very impressed. But at the same time, they think, well, hey, we were like that at some point millions of years ago or whatever. So yeah, we get it. You guys suck, but we sucked at one point too. Just keep working at it.
You got about 1 million years in evolution ago.
Yeah, keep taking 1 million years probably, but keep trying.
You could take a very dark approach. I mean, if you look back in history, National Socialism, like the Nazis, made a lot of technological advancements
Through a war, yeah.
What would be the risk that these space traveling people would actually have a Nazi style government, because they will advance fastest,
Well, yeah, because they're thinking all the same things, right? But they got one advantage: they can actually get here. We're the little guys now, so what are they? They're going to approach you from the same angle, right? It's just like, hey, we're, they easily could, if they're bad guys, they easily could say, hey, look, we're in charge now. Here's the shitty deal for planet Earth, and say, oh, well, we don't like that. Well, so they blow up a few cities, until you get the idea. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, we're on board now. Yeah, it'd be real simple, and all your cowardly government, of course, they're going to be dogpiling over themselves, trying to be the guy in charge, to stab everybody, to see who can be in the pecking order there. It's
yeah, we'll be the first to make the deal with them.
Yeah, who can be the first to sell out the rest of the planet, the rest of human beings, because they'll do it.
Yeah,
that's what they do now. And these guys are going to know that because they've obviously been. I mean, if they can get here, they've obviously been watching you for a while, and they're not going to be very impressed. They're going to understand you, big time. Know exactly what to do to. Yeah, I don't give it much hope. All this Space Force, whatever, man. What are you gonna?
Space Force. Yeah.
What are you gonna do to these guys? Any of these UFOs that you see or you don't see around, what are you gonna do about it? What are these Air Force guys? They chase them around, but they can't do anything about it. It's like, oh yeah, man, this is weird. You got it all on tape and everything, but what the fuck are you gonna do about it?
Absolutely nothing.
Not a damn thing. That's what you're gonna do. Not a damn thing.
No, if they are capable of traveling such distances, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I'm still thinking probably then they wouldn't even be the aliens. They would be like the AI or something they send out because it's for exploration reasons. I mean,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
why would you even take the time to send like a real person over to such like a barbaric little planet? Like,
Like, oh fuck, we gotta watch these people again.
yeah. And then
Well,
I mean,
you'd be like a Roman governor. That would be your task. It's like, we need you in Judea, and you said yes, sir. Because if you didn't, you were going to go there in a slave ship. You know, that's it's your new job. Say he's the low guy on the pole. He will look like a genius to us, and he will be. You know, this guy that they sent. He's actually just like a low end ambassador guy that got the shitty job of having to go to planet Earth. You know, fuck. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's true. Probably.
yeah, he's going to be first guy on the pole here. You know, it's like he's your new governor.
But if they send AI here, then it would even be possible that it's like so small we can't even see it with our eyes because they're so advanced. They can make everything on like nanoscale.
Oh yeah.
They can, and it would be like so small. It could already be here. It would be like the size of like a bacteria or something, because they have like the skills to do that. So yeah, it's just, we can't even grasp what these people can do.
Well,
Yeah, it would also be faster, right? I mean, if you send something with the size of a bacteria or something like nano robot, you could easily, much more easily reach like light speed or something with it. Like huge objects.
I heard that you
yeah.
well, you actually could travel at the speed of light, but you need to be energy or something like that.
Departicleized.
Yeah, you have to be at. Yeah, you literally turn into like particles. What else? What else do we have to talk about? Let me see, Ecuador. Oh yeah, Google admits that it allows applications to access your Gmail data. I don't know if that's a surprise to anybody, but
they finally had to admit it anyway.
yeah, you know, they also admitted they also had they can also keep on lying about their GPS function on Android phones. How when it's off, it's not truly off. Like it's still on, and like even at Computer Science Lab in Berkeley, they had to jump through hoops to actually turn it off, the GPS function.
But it's a lot of work.
Well, it's off for you, the user, the slave. Well, it's a slave tracker, so yeah, you get a menu that says you turned it off for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really off.
No, it's just your interface to it off. Yeah, that's how easy it is. I mean, Edward Snowden also showed this in phones. There are like little microphones in it. There's like a secondary microphone. They can use it actually to listen to you, and it has like its very own battery too. So it's completely independent of your device. So yeah, they can actually listen to you whenever they want. Like you said, it's just later. Pretty much.
That's what I refer to it as now. That's what they've turned it into. It was a great communication device for an advanced civilization, and they've turned that into a government slave tracker over about a 15-year period here. It's quite a morphosis to the project.
That was the idea to start with.
Well,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, hey, you know, there is a communication. Nothing wrong with it. You know, the technology and all. I mean, you know, it's great. Everybody can communicate. That's fine. You know, if you let them.
But we got to listen in.
It's like, no, we got to know what you're doing. How many hairs are on your butt crack for what? What is that so important for? Why do you have to know that?
Told you it's corrupt, I wish, man.
Get all of this, you know, you're cuckoo. You're like, what are you going to do with that information? Okay, government, you counted them now. Now you know how many there are. No, you all days. What are you going to do with that?
I'm losing my connection like left and right. What is going on? What is downloading?
Tell me you're getting interrupted. Are you being jammed?
No,
Oh, so it's in the act.
I don't know.
Happened to Terrence.
I don't know. He said there was some storm and he probably wouldn't have cellular service. So
Tornadoes.
yeah, I don't know where he is right now.
Yeah, he's being really evasive about where he's at.
Usually when we start the stream, he like jumps in right away. He's always ready.
He may be somewhere where he's not supposed to be.
Probably. A high chance.
Let me see.
Well, no, they've gone after some of those guys on that line 3 or wherever they're doing there in Louisiana, man. I mean, they're
What
not
is
messing
that
around.
about? Yeah, I've heard about the Grateful Nine or whatever the fuck they're calling them. What is that about?
Well, they were standing in front of the construction. I mean, the same tactics. It's just that you know, in certain counties, especially in the South, Louisiana, Texas, for instance, you know, that's just not going to fly, man. I mean,
How long have they been in jail for?
it doesn't really fly anywhere, but definitely down here in oil country, it's really not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bayou, well, where do they call it? The Bayou Bridge or Line
Bridge,
3?
yeah.
Or
There it is with my connection. I wonder if I'm getting interference from my cellular device near my wireless card.
could be.
Could be. Put on airplane mode. Alright.
I know my old cell phone, man, when that thing fires off, I hear all kinds of stuff in my that coming out of my
Oh, out of your
monitor
speakers.
and the card. Yeah, it's like the new phone doesn't do that, but the old one is like, what the hell?
I thought you were talking about the Wi-Fi jammer. I'm like, I haven't even turned that thing on. I haven't
Nah, I
even
ain't
got to
thinking
play
about
with
that.
that thing yet. That's gonna be a fun toy to play at Starbucks with,
Or your local mall.
or a college campus.
Well, these people go crazy. Yeah, if their smartphones stop working, I mean, it's like a mental health crisis almost. I mean, they have the reaction you get. It's like,
I can't
my God,
read my
my-
Facebook.
my phone. Yeah, I can't get my Facebook. My phone doesn't work. It's like, you know, you've lost contact with reality because your phone stopped working. Because you've actually forgotten how to act in the real world. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I can't believe I bought the chip for like $6, dude. It's like, I can't believe how cheap it was.
Could have some fun with police.
Now, you know, they get angry when they find you with those things.
Dude, I got it from China.
The good stuff. You get any good card readers?
Now, they already know you. They already know
You
you bought
swipe.
it.
You swipe the cut those. You recode the gift cards and make them think they're credit cards.
No, actually, you know, I one of my roommates was a black cat, and he had a programmable. It was a programmable credit card, a digital programmable credit card. Yeah, And it was some weird shit. Like
Wow.
add a scanner to scan it, and then once it scans on that end, it updated the digital credit card via Bluetooth. And then now the digital credit card mimics the the one you just swiped. I never seen anything like it. I mean,
Sounds shady, but
it was pretty shady, yeah.
That carding stuff's dangerous, anyways.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say this stuff on air.
It's
oh,
for
man, something else
educational.
we can't even talk about it.
You have to do a disclaimer. It's educational purposes.
But I didn't tell him how to do it or where to buy
Yeah,
it.
it's not like we're selling digital guns online for your 3D printers.
Yeah,
Well,
he told
here's
me.
how it goes. It's like it's like what they tell you. It's like, okay, you're not the bomber, but you taught the bomber what to do, so you're a bad guy. See, yeah, that's how that works.
Well, if this gets into the country, then it's customs' fault for letting it through. I mean, all right, if you can order something like that, and you know it's got to go through U.S. Customs, probably has to go through different 5 customs checkpoints to even get here. If they let it through, there's a problem there.
Well, it's to set up guys like you that buy it. Yeah, it's okay
Yeah.
because you're a free American that can do whatever you want. Yeah, go ahead and buy that. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Never bought nothing
Yeah.
like that, but if I did, I would be smart about it. I would wait 2 years.
Yeah, go ahead and build that silencer for your gun. Go ahead, see what happens.
Those are legal where I live now.
Oh,
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my little Badger I showed you guys, the barrel screws off. I can put one on there. It's totally modified. You can put a pistol grip handle on it.
There's states
Sighting.
where they're legal. In Arizona, you're allowed to have silencers, I believe.
Yeah, it's news to me, man. So you guys are on your own, all right? Yeah. I didn't hear anything.
Well, it's a law, right? Some states are legal, some states aren't. Yeah. So it's what you get for having a Trump president. I've seen some ladies online talking about VAWA, which is Violence Against Women Act.
Yeah.
It goes out of date this month, and you'll probably see a lot of guys asking for a custody visitation pretty soon. So this is usually used against them in court. Oh, well, he asked for visitation. That could be considered a domestic violence act. Just asking for that extra time through court because you subpoenaed somebody. You threatened them with a subpoena. Like Preston says, it's the thinking of people here.
Yeah, they take that as a threat instead of you engaging in the civil or criminal process, right? Because that's really what you're doing. There's a process to follow if you're going after somebody or so forth, or if they're coming after you. But the moment you do that, oh well, he put a restraining order. Well, yeah, that's the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could even
People
be
get all
considered.
whacked out. It's like, oh well, you took me to court. Well, yeah, you ripped me off, so now I want my money. Yeah, I took you to court. So what? But that's the threat. So you never get to defend yourself in this country. This is what I've noticed even from what time I was a kid. There's always some asshole that can fuck you over, but the moment you stand up for yourself and try to do something about it and follow the process, you're the bad guy. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen, man. I don't know if you guys have run across that, but
Oh yeah, all the time, man.
yeah, it's like, well, what the hell is this? What kind of system is this? You tell me this is how it works and here are the rules, and then the moment I use them, I'm the bad guy. What the fuck?
Yeah, you can't. There's really no freedom.
That's why I call it a joke, because it is. You tell me that I've got all these rights, I'm free and sovereign, you use all these big words, and I go, hey, yeah, man, that sounds great, man. America's great, and then you actually try to to exercise those rights. And it's like, well, there's this problem all of a sudden. It's like, well, what the hell? You told me I had all these rights. What happened?
Yeah, the person you try to take to court is the
Whoa.
victim.
Yeah, and then try to defend yourself. Now I'm the bad guy. What the hell is this? And then you realize, you know what it is? It's just all bullshit. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Because none of that is true.
So the guy in the video posted up on Twitter. He says, they're making you hate white people. They're making you hate black people. Like family courts are making mom and dads angry with each other. They have to. It's like you said, the war. You got to go to this country and bomb them because they owe you this, but this one can't touch anybody that goes here.
Yeah, but it's messed up. There's some big time psychological problems, not on just personal levels, but on a mass psychology government level. There's some big issues. People think it's just like they're above the law now. Well, it's just okay. So you got elected to some office, or you're some government employee. So what? Well, where does that in your mind? Where did you think that gave you all these rights to do all this thing, and now all of a sudden you're absolved of being, prosecuted in any way? Where does that thinking come from? I mean,
I don't know.
nobody told you, right? I mean, no, you did. That wasn't in your contract. You had when you got to your work, here's the scope of your work. Here's your job duties. Well, nowhere in there does it say you're above the law. No, in fact, it's quite the opposite. So, where do these people get this idea? It's elitism and cronyism and all the rest of it. It's amazing. Some people are special, think a lot of themselves, narcissists, and don't give a shit about anybody else.
All are created equal, but some are more equal than others.
Yeah, there's the con. It's like, yeah, we're going to write it down. Everybody's created equal, but they don't actually believe that. It's just like, oh, you want me to actually stand by that? What I mean? My words are supposed to mean something. I'm supposed to stand by that. Oh fuck, I didn't know that. Because that's not what I do. I'm in government. I'm an elitist. I'm from a special family. Whatever. I don't have to worry about that anymore. That was just something you say. Yeah, it's just something you say. It doesn't have to actually mean anything. There's the problem right there. You're all full of what.
Themselves.
Yeah, shit and everything else. Yeah, you're full of it.
And it's the purpose of eating, so you shit, right?
Well, you have to. It's part of the. That's that battery. You're the human battery. You have to take all these things in and ingest them and chemically change them to power your little Energizer bunny self. Feel like an Energizer bunny?
No.
Oh shit! Fucking phone. I almost had an accident here.
John, you there? You sleep?
No, I'm still here.
Let's see, what I did not cover? They said Facebook. A study shows that 44% of Facebook users from 18 to 35 have deleted their Facebook.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's a small age group though, because like a majority of that's just like a small gap of people, but it's still a lot of people who got rid of their Facebook.
I think we're at like 16% or something.
Yeah.
Entire.
Wow, really? That's pretty good.
It's a good start. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that'll
people,
hurt you.
Yeah, it's also people who are kind of like educated about their privacy and their stuff. So yeah.
Well,
Then they have to swipe left on their mom on Facebook dating now.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that was one thing
Got all
I wanted to talk about. Yeah, his Facebook dating app went live in an area. You can actually in the United States, it's going live. I believe it's
Wow.
an independent. It's an independent app, not. I believe it's not tied into actual Facebook, which gives, but it's fucking Facebook. You know, they're same issues, same privacy issues, same.
Well, yeah, even if you were a third party, you're using all their data, so you're essentially them. I mean,
They're not liking the relationship you're in now, so they're going to break you two up and put you with somebody you have the same conservative values, Christian values, or whatever values, and put you with them instead of who you're with now.
Yeah, well, I've actually read that other dating apps actually removed Facebook as the obligatory login thing. So you
Yeah.
needed to have Facebook to like log into these other apps, and they removed that due to the
Yeah, I think
delete
that's kind
Facebook
of bullshit
thing.
for authentication. Yeah, I still run into that where they want you to use Facebook to authenticate who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, yeah,
You can use Google too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's no longer just mandatory to just use Facebook. So I think Facebook, as a response to that, made like their own dating app. Getting like desperate or something.
well, yeah, they are. They're doing every little trick they can to try to keep
Well, Zuckerberg,
some kind of
Zuckerberg-
audience. and-
Zuckerberg knows it's in decline. He's known it for a while. I've known it. Content creators know it. You know,
Our listeners know it. I mean, the reach on all pages was like going back for a while now, and it, due to the censorship, but it's also like the paid promotion pages, just like they end up on top. And
Oh yeah, you know what they also did is they increased the cost for sponsored ads. Remember how it used to be $3 to boost posts? Now they want $20.
Shit.
Whoa.
Yeah,
it's just retarded. I mean, like if you're like an activist or like small business, can't pay for that stuff. You just have to find another place. You have to leave that stuff, and you have to start your own.
Build your own web page for your business or whatever. Mhm.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you
What
can't.
happened to that?
Well, I mean that's still used, but I mean I think people got lazy. It got so easy to have everything, or base it on a YouTube
Convenient.
or a Facebook, and they sucked you in, and now they've flipped the script on you, and it's not, you screwed yourself.
Yeah, because
So,
they're still
hey,
in your
let's-
revenue.
Lesson learned. It's like, don't base your shit out of their platform, because you don't know what they're going to do. You're not in control of it. So it doesn't hurt to have a presence there, but that can't be like your only place of doing business, unless you just like to live dangerous.
Yeah,
See,
but
but-
that's the thing. Like websites, like
Well, you-
for example, like eBay or Amazon, they take all the search results in like Google and stuff. So if you're like selling a product, then it's so much easier to just use that outlet to do it. And then it's the same as with Facebook. You want your news out, Facebook takes all the top rankings in the search engines because there's so many backlinks because there's so many users. And they're all linking to their Facebook stuff. So
And,
Yeah,
and you
because-
see so many people on other pages of Twitter, Discord, wherever else they're going. They feel so good about themselves getting away from it. They're not having to compete with their neighbor constantly, or their coworker. It's not a total, drama following you home fest.
yeah,
For
but
real.
like if you're like you're selling like a phone or something, and you want to rank on like cheap phone for sale, and it's so much easier to create like a Twitter account called cheap phone for sale and have a few links to that, and you're already ending like top 10 in like Google. And to do this on your own website will take you months to years even to do that, unless you're really skilled at
SEO.
search engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so much easier to do it like from a social networking site. Facebook too. You create a Facebook page. You put a few links to it. You post it in a few groups. You have a few backlinks, and you'll end on top, and you actually will get a lot of sales. So that's why all these people are doing that. But yeah, you're keeping these networks alive together, and yeah, for it to end, you all have to leave at once, and then you replace that. And then you actually got like a free opportunity again, like real opportunities.
Well, there'll be something better that'll come along, than Facebook. It's probably right around the
It's
corner. I'm not. It just
yeah,
all it
it
needs
won't.
all it needs to be good is to be popular and have the bells and whistles, and
It's a matter of time.
just a
Well,
matter of
because they've,
time.
yeah, Facebook soiled their diaper. Everybody sees it for what it is now. If you didn't know before, now you do. This is the deal. So, okay, lesson learned. You move on. You get your own website. You go somewhere else. You just prepare because this is the new way they're operating. So, they're cutting their own throat. You can't survive long term with a business model like that where you screw over your customer and your creator. That's just
Well, you interrogate.
that doesn't
Basically,
even make sense.
the government IDs and interrogating, account holders on who they are and verifying identity, and it's fucking ridiculous.
They can't protect you. I watched a horror movie this week. It was considered horror. It was scary to me because I've seen this stuff happen in real life. On Facebook, Skype. The movie was called Unfriended, if I can say that. And once you see this stuff unfold in real life on Facebook, you realize it's not just a movie; it's a warning because people are putting their kids' photos out. Their photos are out. Your home address is out. You have to post all this to have Facebook. Who's really
Someone,
collecting that?
someone is asking the panel what they think about Gab. Uh, wasn't
Haven't used.
Gab was taken off the Google Play Store, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're still there. Well, it's like even AJ's app. They took that Infowars news app off the Apple Store. It
Well,
was it was it was trending #1 there for a while, for a week or so until they censored that off Apple.
honestly
Yeah.
I can't respond to that person's question because I've only seen screenshots of Gab, but I never personally used it.
I hear good things, but yeah, I've never used it myself. I know there's some people over there, but that have gotten kicked off all these other platforms, so they're already over there. But
I
yeah,
created a Gap account long ago, but I couldn't even find myself today there. So, yeah, I was searching
Found
for
you
it.
here.
Like,
well, there's Minds. Well, there's Spreely. There's another one. I was hearing about this other day, Spreely. So that's like another one that just seems to have popped up, and they seem to like. But I don't know.
Kim has one.
I don't.
Kim.k.im Kim.com is making his own.
Uh,
All it needs. A lot of these like little tiny social media sites. They just need the users. It needs to become popular, and
mhm.
once that happens, that'll be the decline of Facebook.
yeah, there'll be a
Okay.
massive.
Go to Edward Snowden's page. He's got his app up now. It's a VPN. You use it.
He has a VPN. Last thing he was working on was
Hmm.
the security app where it turns your device into like a recording spyware thing. When you leave it somewhere and it's
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, Screamer.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one on my phone. If somebody picks it up when I walk away, it starts screaming immediately. Yeah. There's also one out where somebody tries to unlock your phone. I forgot the name of it. I had it on my last two phones. It takes the photograph of the person trying to get into your phone.
Huh.
And you can always use
Wow.
King Kong locks if you really have something you're trying to hide. Yeah.
Well, even Jack will realize that his Twitter is a little more frugal with their what you can and can't post, but even Twitter has its fucking shitty side. So when people find that when something better comes along, just like I said, people will move.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no. Well, that's
A lot of people were.
how the market works. Yeah.
A lot
If
of
there's
people
something
were.
better,
A lot of
you
people were
just
in
move
this,
on.
that were in this are on Snapchat, but I'm like, You know, like I played around with it. I tried using it. It's not exactly my cup of tea. You know.
Seems like the younger kids are into Instagram. I don't know what it is, but a bunch of them are on Instagram now.
It's
I
just
can't figure out
pictures,
why.
dude. Pictures and videos.
Huh.
Yeah.
Candid moments, family moments.
Okay.
Trying to become that YouTube rock star you always heard about, the Facebook famous rock star.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of optimistic reading the chat below our video. All these people like saying like Facebook was exposed and Facebook is damaging. And
DARPA, LifeLog. Yeah, it was all planned 20 years before it was put out 20 years.
Yeah, you know what I find interesting is that these people, it's like, okay, you had your devious plan from day one before it was ever even on the market or anything that you were going to do all this. That's fine. How did you? But what you geniuses didn't seem to figure out was how you were going to get away with it. How were you going to do that and not expose yourself? Because now you're exposed. You geniuses have done this, and now you're exposed. Was that part of your plan? Or did you forget to think about that?
They probably forgot to think
You
about
know,
it.
I think they probably forgot. We got this motherfucker covered. We're gonna screw around all these dumb fuckers, right? Because that's what we are. We're
That's
dumb
what he said.
fuckers.
That's what he called us, dumb
Yeah.
fucks.
So they thought they had it figured out. It's like, and that's what I find amazing. It's like, really, you thought you could fuck people over with a bad business model, and they were gonna love that. Where did you get that idea? What economic book did you read in college when you were a big time hacker? Markey. Where did you read that? What page?
He wasn't even a hacker. Like he fucking
Wait.
bought the code from somebody else. Just like
Well,
Bill
he
Gates
thinks
did.
he is. He's on Hacker Way. He's a big time
One
hacker.
hacker way.
He thinks he is. Yeah.
that's the address.
Yeah. What did that son of a bitch ever do other than steal things and fuck people over? He ain't done nothing.
Don't
all the
they
ruse,
still have
man.
those white. They still have those white hat accounts on
It's a fraud.
Facebook. No, on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so you hear this story, or we create our next Madison Avenue puppet, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever, man.
Meat puppet.
You thought you honestly thought that was going to work? I mean, you're delusional.
I think
People,
he is.
even if they're stupid, they know when they're getting fucked over. They don't like it. That's not going to work. It's just.
It was just the thought of how to get it in everybody's hands, get them all to use it, how to get them relying on it. That's all that had to be done.
Yeah, and then so you were going to rub it in my face, right? You were going to tell me how we tricked you, and this is what we're really doing, and we just gave you something because you're so stupid, and that what? I just can't walk away and turn the motherfucker off and call you an asshole, And then I'm done with you. Where's the business plan, man? I don't. I don't get it. I really don't get how that was a
It's
smart
not a
thing to
business
do,
plan.
or you
That's
floated a bunch of stock, okay, hey, you guys made billions on some fraudulent thing called Facebook. It was all a pump and dump stock scheme, Okay, I get it, but it wasn't really meant to work long term, because that's not going to work.
No, the business module thing was thrown out there to entice other countries to let them in, because they're already listening to everything that's around you. So why can't they be listening to everything that you're doing? Because somebody else's device is listening to everything around them, and it's listening to you. So it's this Facebook invaded all other countries and got away with it with social media, business model. How else could you disguise it? Yeah.
Well, no, it's fine. If you're a truly open, free platform, that's fine. That will work. You will see massive growth. You will see what you saw happen, and you became this big company. But if you really thought that you were going to do that and then flip the script and turn it into some means of control, then you were highly mistaken, because that's not going to work, and you're going to watch your stock and your company go to shit. which you should because you're an asshole, that's what's going to happen. I don't know, man. I mean, companies do a lot of weird stuff. I've worked for some places I'd never understand. It was just a check, whatever. Just tell me what to do. But companies do weird things, man. They think they got it all figured out and done it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, whatever, man. I don't know what board meeting or whatever y'all were snorting at whatever board meeting you came up with that shit.
Yeah, and the Facebook value is like entirely based on zeros and ones and stolen data of users, and
Yeah.
the value is
Yeah.
450 billion, and that is like I just looked at the list of countries in the world, and it would rank number 27, like on the richest countries of the world value list.
See,
Like Argentina is 470 billion, and that's number 27. So 28 it would be, and so it would rank 28 in the country list.
then the cryptos have got it figured out because that's what Facebook is. Facebook is another form of crypto. It's data crypto. And hey, you're selling your biometric
selling your-
data, your psychometric data.
Yeah, think about
All
it.
that
What would keep Bitcoin or any of these companies, these crypto companies, from selling your data?
It's just the same thing. It's just all zeros
Yeah.
and ones too. But people
Yeah.
want the illusion to be like no longer attached to banks, but yeah, you still have to send the money to you with your bank to it, or you have to cash it out to your bank. You can have this entire economy based on crypto, but then you're like in the same situation as with the fiat currencies. You're at the same fucking problem. So yeah. Then there's no
Yes.
bank controlling it. It's just like entirely controlled by, the largest owners of the crypto coins. Yeah, but the richest guy controls the value of your crypto. Pretty much, like, yeah, it's difficult. With Bitcoin, it's like it was calculated that 4 or 5 Bitcoin miners control like the majority of the mining power of Bitcoin. What was that all about?
Somebody who dumped a shit ton of money a long time ago. Well, isn't that data set, that mining center they have in Iceland, Genesis, the one that's the shared where you can there were 2 warehouses out in Iceland where they're just dedicated to mining. Maybe.
Okay. I know that most mining power is actually in China and stuff.
Oh. Well, wasn't Goldman Sachs thinking about opening an exchange? They were supposed to be open this summer, and that never happened.
I thought they had like Bitcoin futures and shit going for a while.
One of their
decent.
subsidiaries is already in mining bitcoins. Fidelity, and the one with the I, Fidelity Investments. Yeah, they're mining. They've been mining Bitcoin for a while.
Oh, I just
Wow.
just searching. I was searching for Genesis mining. Yeah, they're called the largest Ethereum mine, and they're called the largest cloud Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, you can buy if every once in a while somebody will sell their space on the cloud, but literally you can buy as much as you want. This is a long-term plan. Cloud mining, I haven't heard too many good things about cloud mining, to be honest. If you want a high return, you really got to dump a lot of money into Genesis.
Yeah, well, there's if you're mining Bitcoin, it would likely be better to just get these ASIC miners yourself.
Or just get a bunch of
ASIC.
NVIDIA cards.
Yeah. Because there's not really any like overselling with that stuff, right? You can't do it like with a cloud hosting that you're just like selling a lot of space and people are not using all this space.
You just use it
Because
on-
that's what happens in hosting, right? There's all these people buy like 100 gigabyte of space, but they're like using a few gigabytes, so you can like oversell a lot. But with mining, it's very different because you're like using so much intensity of hardware.
That's when you just use Jack servers.
Yeah. I like the JavaScript thing with the Monero mining.
As long as you keep the processing power down low, they it won't suspect anything. I think Monero is one of the better ones. It has no public. Ledger.
I wonder who gave us the
Oh,
dislike
really?
on YouTube.
What?
Did someone
Oh,
dislike us?
man.
Yes, somebody gave us a dislike on YouTube.
It was you,
That's
Micro.
inevitable.
No, I don't see our usual hater group in here. They're gone.
That's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
think
going to
we got,
censor like the platforms that we're on.
I think he was trolling us, but I said hi to him. I said hi to him.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
what was his name?
You know what? No, I'm not going to blame him now because I don't know it for sure, but I think he's trolling us.
Oh,
But we said hi to Big Baby, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Spatzlowski or whatever his name was. Max.
It's okay. It's cool. Haters make you famous.
We aren't even famous, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, yeah, what is our rank, man? What is our internet rank
I don't know.
on anything? I mean,
923 billion out of.
On average, I think.
oh, come on,
we
man.
You get like 2,000 or 3,000 views all over. I mean, if you put all the social media sites that are up, about 2,000 or 3,000 a show. It used to be up in the 10,000s, but those days are over.
Yeah, Facebook pretty much censors us every episode now. Our top episodes were like over 50,000. You
Yeah.
remember those episodes?
Yeah,
And that was early too. Yeah, I mean, that's
Then the reporting
Wow.
started coming in.
well. That's when they changed the algorithms and prioritize it.
yeah.
And who knows?
Yeah. On YouTube, we were like maybe like 5% or something of what we had, like people watching it at the same time. We're at 17 watching now, it says on YouTube.
Thank you guys. Thank you for chatting with us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I
Twitter.
mean, we still get, for the few we do have, I mean, we're getting good engagement. It's just like, man, I mean,
Yeah.
it's disappointing. You just can't build. I mean, here's what gets me is like, it's just more of that dream. They tell you, how you can just dream it and you can build it. Well, and then when you try, you get censored. I mean, it's just all part of that same trick, man. It just gets old, It's just,
Well, YouTube
it's a
censors for
damn lie, man.
We got a strike for copyright infringement. And that sucked.
2 episodes are actually removed by YouTube.
It was
And
for
there
the
is,
Ghostbusters theme, dude. I put the Ghostbusters theme on, and it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Don't mess with Hollywood.
Da, 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 da.
They're special.
That was for the Halloween special, bro.
Yeah.
Mm. That's horrible.
But just dream it, Tyler, and you can build it. Just keep trying.
Well, it's like, everything on the internet, all these social media sites, they're always concerned about copyright protection. It's like content creators, you literally have to, like, rethink, like, what you're putting on the video, what you're streaming. Can I put the music? Can I put this 15-second clip or whatever?
Yeah.
It's so. I mean, I had to learn everything the hard way. Like, at first I thought I could do whatever the fuck I want. I thought, you stream movies or whatever. You can do that until you get caught. But, if you really care about your channel or your account, then you want to, you're gonna have to take it up the ass and start listening to what they're saying, or else they're gonna remove all your shit.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks is we never used ads on it. We never made income with anything. Like none of these sites, we're not using ads on anything. Like we're not selling any stuff. It's like everything has been done for free for like what's now 130 or 140
Yeah,
episodes.
we put our own money into the
2 years.
We put our own money into the back end service, and that's pretty much about it.
And they thank us with like copyright claims. We're like providing like 4 hours free content to their net platforms every single time. Yeah.
Well, it would be okay if you got a warning. It's like, okay, you did something wrong. Here's your warning.
No, we
Your strike or whatever.
We got a
No,
90
and you
day.
move on. Yeah.
No, when you get a strike on YouTube on live streaming, you can't live stream for 3 months.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the whole mystery. So you never get to know. Most cases you don't even get to know now what it is you did exactly. You have to figure it out. But you're in a new zone now where it's like, well, you know what? You don't even have a strike, but we don't like what you're talking about, so we're just going to get rid of your channel. No.
Yeah.
Your ambient noise from your game console was the reason.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
the-
impossible, like background
Twitch is
noise.
getting weird. Twitch, they will let you play the games, but I think you have to turn off the music.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's what I heard.
But that's fine too.
Okay.
I want to hear your music
Yeah.
while we game.
We have 2 minutes.
For real. I've gamed with
2
guys,
minutes.
one of my biggest games has been Destiny 2. Well, not so much no more.
I thought you were gonna say Fortnite. I'm like, that's been done. Like, that one's been
Nah.
played too much, bro.
And if you're in a chat like this and you're gaming with people and you have to coordinate strategies, I don't want to hear your rap music. I don't want to hear your heavy metal. I don't want to hear your Christian pop. I want to hear our strategy. How are we going to win this match? How are we going to get our tokens for the competition? Because a lot of these games are online. You're in competition to get money from them, from your time you're spending in it.
All right,
So we
guys,
got like
one
a minute left or something.
1 minute.
Okay, so yeah, Facebook sucks, copyright sucks.
Everything sucks this year. Hurricanes.
Gulag.
We might to our guests. We might be going live Sunday midday. We might have Leanne DeHart. That's still up in the air. We might do a special pop-up show on Sunday. But we will also be back next week at the same time as we were before today. I'd like to thank our guests for listening, and I'll roll out.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
And spay and neuter your local politicians.
Please.
Bye bye.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.